Yuck! Well, hi there, fellow armchair Imagineers. I'm not going to do that voice anymore. I just want to get that yuck out of the way. Tiki here, and tonight we're talking Mr. Banks. Yeah, all right. So this is a very special podcast, and with me tonight is Mr. SandyClaws.
Hey! Ho, ho, ho!
Our usual co-conspirator, BlueDragonFive.
Gosh.
And the new kid of the bunch, Jacob Wiles.
Hello.
Alright, so, let's see. We all reconvened for the Star Wars podcast, which, Jacob, that was your first podcast on the channel, so what do you think? How do you like us? How do you like our vibe and energy and whatnot?
I gotta definitely say it's definitely fun talking to you guys. It's a great pleasure being here and talking Mr. Banks with you guys.
Talking Mr. Banks, yeah. Well, we try and make people comfortable. So, all right. So tonight we are talking about one of our favorite Disney movies. Like, honest to God, mission statement of this whole podcast for me, from you guys to me right now. Like, look into my eyes, look and see my honesty and sincerity when I tell you. Rewatching a Goofy movie last night, it might be my favorite Disney movie of all time. Of all time.
That's a bold statement. We're going to need to back that up.
Yeah, that is pretty bold.
You definitely have a lot to work up against.
I think this Disney movie is about as close to a perfect Disney movie as there is.
Well, let's put it to the test.
All right. That's what we're here to do. So, Dragon, you want to kind of give us a little bit of background going forward?
Well, let's save that for when we get into the history.
Okay, so, oh yeah, right. So, first of all, nostalgic connections. I'm sorry. Obviously, you guys know I love this movie.
Yeah.
But rewatching it as an adult, there were so many things about it, so many shots that I was just blown away, like, oh my god, the lighting, the composition, so many moments of acting between Goofy and Max that just broke your heart, and then, simultaneously, the moments of Goofy and Max bonding, you're just like, all right, and just the whole way the thing comes together, all the songs, all the music, it's beautiful. It's an absolute gem of a movie for me. I absolutely love it. But nostalgically, I saw this movie on VHS. It came out the same year as Toy Story. I saw Toy Story in the theater. I saw this on VHS. This was one of my go-tos on VHS for sure. I assume that's the case for all of us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about it other than, I just watch it over and over again as a kid. It was definitely one of my standbys. It was one of the ones that I'd go to over and over again. And rewatching it as an adult, I can see why, because I can just see how, just from a conceptual and composition point of view, like just how the opening scene forward draws you in. It really kind of gets you into Max's dilemma, not wanting to turn into Goofy. It really, like, all the characters come together so well. It's magical, and I can't wait to get into it. So what are your guys' thoughts?
It's one that's definitely warranted over the years many VHS viewings for myself.
Oh, yeah.
But in many ways, it's the ultimate Father's Day movie. It's like one of those, like, out of like a top five. You got Finding Nemo, you got Taken, you got this. I mean, this is one of the ultimate Father's Day films.
How dare you put Taken in the same league with Finding Nemo and Goofy Movie? How dare you, sir? How dare you?
I'm sorry. Are you telling me that a movie where a father kills that many people, goes to Paris, does all that stuff, is not warranting of a Father's Day film? It's Liam Neeson killing life and limb just to save his daughter in Paris. That's an amazing film.
Depends on the family.
Yeah, no, but seriously though, it is a nice fuzz. I mean, when you think about it, it is very similar to Finding Nemo.
Yeah, except Marlon doesn't go out of his way to kill people.
Except the killing part. Well, except the sharks were there was an attempt there with the sharks. No, I'm
Well,
kidding.
he was about to be killed.
Yes.
We're
The point is, a parent risking life and limb to save their child. Very similar finding. But you see what I'm saying, though? It is kind of one of those ultimate kind of father-based films that we can all just kind of look to.
This movie just absolutely, every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh my god, like, I treasure my relationship with my father so much. And that's the hard-hitting thing that hits me, like, right here as an adult. You know what I mean?
I think we all see a little bit of Goofy in our fathers.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Statement.
And one day we're going to be like Goofy with being fathers of ourselves, of our own.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, brilliantly illustrated in that opening scene, which is like straight out of like a, I don't know, like a Machiavellian horror movie or something.
He becomes his father. Literally.
It's like something out of David Lynch or something like that. I don't know.
The opening to this film was brilliant. It really was. But so, it's the premise of this film. It's Goofy and Max on a road trip. With surprisingly gripping drama that, as Tiki has mentioned, it still holds up today. It's so well executed.
It's timeless.
The drama holds up so well. It's ridiculous. It's like you feel the tension in that car every step of the way.
It's the timeless drama story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's surprisingly told with Goofy.
Yeah, it's got such great animations, so many memorable shots, and I would say out of all Disney films, I can't say this is the best Disney film, but what I can say is this probably out of all the Disney films this is the one that has the most fantastic use of lighting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Probably the most fantastic lighting in a Disney film. I might go that far.
Let me point out one shot right here. It's the shot, like, at the very end of On the Open Road where the camera goes over the bypass.
Yeah.
And we see that windmill in the sunset.
That was cool.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Dragon, right?
It just has this great golden vigor to it, It's like this great golden varnish over the whole film in these aspects. You get these great oranges and reds, and they're very hard to do because the oranges and reds kind of blend together. But it's great intensity. And you got some cool blues, some great reflectivity. It's good stuff.
It reminds me of Fantasia almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a grounded Fantasia.
The colors in the motel scene were great.
That's what I'm saying.
That scene, yeah.
Oh, and also food animation.
There is some good food animation.
There is some very good food animation.
The pancakes. Again, the pancake food animation I thought was great.
The pancakes and then the bacon and eggs in the form of a smiley face.
Yes, but still, those are some very well animated pancakes.
And
the syrup on there was like melded into the thing. It worked. But enough of the food talk. We keep talking.
No. One more thing about the food talk.
What about the alphabet soup?
Yeah.
That's like a big plot point right there. Oh my god.
So I'm saying, you get to see you get the sense of hollowness within the cup. How do you do that? It's got the dimensional painted
Tiki,
look.
what was that?
I'm just me laughing.
He loves the food animation as much. Have you seen the Ichabod Crane discussion?
No.
We just spent like 10 minutes talking about the food animation.
Oh my god.
Really?
Well, I mean, spaced out, bear in mind, but we kept going back to it.
Okay, one quick thing about the food animation.
One last thing about the food. We got to move on from the food.
Okay, the pizza. The way the cheese on the pizza just dangles off of those slices.
Yeah.
So
enticing.
You want to eat it.
This is gonna sound so ridiculous, but just film is coated in so much nostalgia. You see this movie, you don't forget. That's kind of my thing with this. Every little bit, and all those bits. Whenever you see pizza, I always like a part of me. In terms of animation and pizza, you always think of like the long, hangy cheese from this movie with the pizza. It sticks with you.
That movie is like one of the things that got me to love pizza so much.
Right?
I mean, in terms of pizza animation, you have this, and then the second one in terms of pizza animation of this variety, because you don't see like the hanging cheese like that. It would be All Dogs Go to Heaven.
But the second movie was nachos, right? Wasn't it nachos?
Yeah, it was nachos.
Yeah, it was not. No, cheese has always been a big selling point of the Goofy movie franchise.
Oh yeah. A little cheese.
The sprayed cheese.
Oh god.
Yes, so well animated. Seriously, you don't really see string cheese in animation that often, or spray cheese in animation that often.
There's a good reason for it too.
No, it's so well animated. Like you can make shapes out of that thing. How do you do that? Okay, but let me share a nostalgic story for you here. So this is just kind of showing you kind of the impact and how tonally gripping this film can be. Because we don't have a place for it throughout this thing, so might as well talk about a little bit of nostalgia here. The possum scene.
Yes, let's talk about the possums.
So again, this film that's the strongest thing about this film.
Starting out strong out of the gate.
Lester's Possum Park.
Then we went to cheese.
It's like a little taste of the movie before we kind of talk about what led us to the movie. Okay, it's a little bit of the movie. So they go to this place, Lester's Possum Park. You know, it's a theme park. That's very possum based.
Yes, theme park.
Possum theme park.
But I'll tell you,
everybody wants to go to one of those.
A possum-based theme park. But this scene, again, this movie is so encoded in just kind of these either traumatizing or beloved moments.
Okay, hold on. Before you go any further, Blue Dragon 5, Five Nights at Freddy's, anyone?
What?
What?
Like, I want to see a Lester's Possum Farm, but with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Don't give anybody any ideas. Five Nights at Lester's?
Yes, Five Nights at Lester's. Yes. I'm sorry. Now, that's all I can think about when I watch this thing.
Boy.
It was going to this place. This is the first stop on the trip. This is basically the first sightseeing expedition on the trip. Like all the stops on the way to fishing. And the minute you go to this place, it's starting to get cloudy because of the rain. The atmosphere is really building. You get some sort of vibe off. Man, there's something off about this place. You go in there. It starts off this horrific looking child being dragged into the thing. I don't want to go. And then I'll just walk you through the horror show here, folks. This, at least I think it's terrifying. Some other people on this panel will agree with me.
Okay, now you mentioned her being dragged into the thing, but do you want to point out specifically what the thing is?
Well, you tell us.
Okay, it's literally like the sharp fangs of a possum, like in the form of a staircase.
And the inside is like red and orange. Looks like hellfire.
Yes.
Now, I want to point out that design was actually inspired by Gator World in Florida, where it has guests go through the alligator. I'm not even kidding you.
I know you're not.
Rollo would have a field day with that place.
I want to look this up now. What's it called? Gator World?
Gator World, yeah.
Kevin Smith was there during. No, he's there recently.
It seems Frollo would love that place.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The Hellfire.
Yes, Frollo would love that place. But anyway, so you go inside this place, and it's just basically, it's like, imagine like the most rundown, creepy Chuck E. Cheese attraction you've ever seen. And it's just basically these animatronic, these rundown, rusted, just broken animatronic possums that you can imagine years ago were probably in decent 50s working shape, but now just not the case. And basically Max here is always our eyes. I mean, I identify so much with Max in this sequence, and I'm just like so. Basically, it's like it feels like kind of a Ren and Stimpy psychodrama put into this one sequence. It really does feel that way. Just all these people around him. It gets worse. I'm just walking through the first part of this. Okay.
I know.
So this animatronic show goes on. You see this girl was like against her will, like, no, I don't want to go. And then she's like, again, she's like any kid missing teeth, but like the face is exaggerated. It's a large face. And she's got these giant gaps of missing teeth. With still like the little gums in between. It's oh god. And this kid just gives a big smile, like it's like the creepiest smile you've ever seen. As this thing's going on, people are loving it. Max is like understandably like, oh, this is freaky. It's like he's like an episode of the Twilight Zone or something. It's like he's just, where am I?
Throughout the movie, I usually don't agree with Max, but that's one time I do agree with him on that.
That's what I'm saying. And then the second part here is when it gets really scary. So you thought that was just, this is the psychodrama territory here. So Max is then he's leaving this thing. Everyone's getting their pictures taken with the possums hanging upside down. Again, you want to be associated with upside down possums, really. But anyway, so the kids are taking a picture, Goofy says, "Oh, Maxie, I'm gonna get my picture taken." And he runs to Maxie! Yes, he runs to the thing, and he's hanging upside down, then apparently he's the spectacle. Again, all these weird Twilight Zonian people.
Let's point out the absolute douche of a kid who just
Yes. I love this movie. I wanted to punch this kid.
Look, it's Dork Jr.
Yeah, seriously, that kid's a prick.
That kid might be up there with like the Jurassic Park 6-foot turkey kid.
And then I love how Goofy's just smiling at him as the kid's insulting him.
It's just one. Okay, first of all, kid, who are you to talk? Okay, you're here. You're in this place. You see the horror show went on inside there. Who are you to judge? Second of all,
come on, have some solidarity, man.
Second of all, look at this kid. This kid's design always freaked me out too. He's got the really long, extended nose and the feet. It's like, oh yeah.
What about the guy in the Lester costume?
Oh dear God, that's what I'm talking about in terms of Five Nights at Freddy's. I would want that thing chasing me around in a
I gotta tell you though, I love the animation. I love the sound design when Max like slaps him so the head turns around.
And the kids drag him away.
Yes, I get like the kids
the kids drag him away like one of the flies.
It's like they're swarming on them, like the mutant toys from Toy Story. It's terrifying.
I mean, really, this 5-minute chunk of this movie is like a Don Bluth acid trip.
Yeah, it's very Bluthian,
It really is.
Anyway, so then, then it turns into this really, again, of all the sections of this film, this one particular bit in the middle of the sequence here is just like the most Ren and Stimpy kind of psychodrama, terrifying stuff you've ever imagined. It's just all the people of this park, all these demented, predominantly hillbilly-looking people in this place, are just laughing their heads off psychotically at Goofy and Max being laughed at here by this annoying little kid. And as you go everywhere Max turns, it's up close shots of people laughing.
It's like a fisheye shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like they're laughing psychotically. The lighting's getting into not the lighting, but it's just things are getting intense all around, and then Max just like angrily leaves, and you can't blame him. I want to get that guy out of there too. And it's just, and then then the possum. Oh, again, then the possum is sicked on Max. And it's going down his shirt and his pants, and like,
that was the worst for me. I was just like, you could just physically picture it.
Yeah, it's just like so wrong, and no one's jumping to his aid. Just like they're all just like laughing.
Oh no! On the contrary, the goddamn band starts up. And like, oh look, this kid's writhing around in pain. Let's start like a little jitty to this kid's suffering.
The whole crowd here, they're just jerks, and they're very terrifying.
Oh man!
And then of course here, if you thought, okay, well it can't get more scary than this, you're right. It can't get more scary, but it's going to get the most heartbreaking thing of realism you've ever seen.
Right?
And this as a kid was my most like traumatizing, again, the emotionally traumatizing moment from this film. It's just after it's raining out, the atmosphere again with the rain, they get it perfectly with the atmosphere. Just like it's such a realistic, it's the most realistic rain you've ever seen. You've been in this rain. It's like just starting up, and it's like it's coming down. As Max is starting to hitchhike there, he's just like, I'm getting away from you. It's like the most realistic father-son conversation. I'm like, no, I want to get away from you. It's like so heartbreaking. Your heart goes out to Goofy. He's just trying. You understand why Goofy's taking him to this place. Like he's been here before. And he's had a blast, and it's just Max is obviously for understandable reasons. Us being in the audience, we can identify. Well, this place is psychotic. I don't want to be here. This is a horrible idea going this trip. But this is our first stop.
Right, he's trying to connect with Max too.
Yeah.
The whole point of it is trying to connect with Max so he doesn't get in any more trouble.
Exactly. And yeah, it's a neat, complex situation. And anyway, so then Max is he's just trying to get away from him, just literally saying to his father, I want to get away from you. I want whatever gets me away from you. I'm willing to hitchhike with strangers just to get away from you. That's a heartbreaking sentiment.
Yeah.
And then it gets worse. Here's the moment that wrecked me. Just it's the hat. It's the ranged possum hat. No matter how grotesque and psychotic it is, it's still something. It's a representation of Goofy's enthusiasm and his optimism is on Max's head, and he instantly takes it off, and he threw it off during the psychotic sequence there, and they're in the car. Max. First of all, it's a very fatherly touch of like Goofy. The kid wants to get in the car, so he opens the kid's car door first. Mm-hmm. Then he gets in his own side. Very subtle fatherly touch.
That always sticks out to me. Yeah.
And anyways, then Max gets in the car, and this bit always broke me. It's
Oh, there's a lot of moments in this movie with Goofy and Max that straight up break.
this is the most kind of just like following such a traumatizing sequence. This moment is like just so realistically like for me, it's always a thing in movies, and this is what started it, by the way, just in case you're curious. Where for some reason, whenever you lose a possession or something in a movie, it always kind of sticks with me. For some,
okay.
In the back of my mind, it always kind of stick with me if like you lose an item, or like an item of importance, especially. Like, oh, it's broken, or you can never go back to it. Where Max, he takes the hat off. Just so first of all, the animation's great. Him just like throwing the hat, trying to throw it out the window. He has to roll the window down constantly as he's just still making his point as he's throwing it out the window.
Right.
And then he finally throws it out the window, and you see his heartbreaking face on Goofy. And then he just, as he drives away, just the shot of that lone hat on the ground in the rain.
Yeah.
With that car driving away, it's just like him saying, it's a symbolic image of, I'm leaving childhood behind. Everything you and I thought we could bond over, it's gone. It's done. That's what's communicated with that moment. It's so heartbreaking. Yeah, just the simple, as a kid, it's the simple thing of, oh man, he threw away his hat. But it's so many levels to it, though.
I know.
Well, it's a very layered movie.
Yes, it's brilliant. That's a little taste of brilliance for this film, folks. So without further ado, unless you guys would like to share any other nostalgic connections, let's get into what brought us to this film.
Sandy, Jacob, nostalgia?
I mean, like stuff that I remember personally from the movie when I first watched it.
Yeah, sure, stuff like that.
Well, what always stuck to me was mainly the scene when they're coming to the junction.
Oh, yeah.
And then the scene where they just both explode at each other.
Oh, God. I love the tension surrounding that moment. It was such a dramatic choice.
Yeah.
After they get along so well, and Max wants to go because he doesn't want to deceive him, but he kind of does. At the last minute he does, but Goofy actually knows about it.
All right, let's put a...
It shows that Goofy isn't as stupid as Max thinks he is.
I think we're going to be talking about that one definitely when we get to some favorite moments, so maybe we should save that one. That one's a big one.
That and the possum scene is, I mean, the ones that stuck with me the most, other than the concerts and the songs, but the part where they just exploded at each other, then got along after that, that always resonated with me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Sandy, any nostalgia?
Well, one of my favorite scenes is when, in the motel, when Goofy finds out that Max tricked him, and he's just, like, completely, like, I don't know.
And he just plays it off, hoping that he won't go through with it.
And then hold on. Then we get that fucking brilliant Hitchcockian shot of Goofy lying on the bed, and then the camera, like, around Goofy, like, turning, and it's, like, Goofy in the same facial expression driving.
Yes.
That
might
be the best composed shot of this entire movie.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was a...
Oh, God.
Okay, well, speaking of Goofy, maybe we should transition here. I'm sorry, Sandy, you were saying?
Yeah, one of my nostalgic scenes was the waterfall scene. I just always remember that. And the opening, too. Just really dream sequence. Terrifying.
So the fishing scene, talking about the one with Bigfoot or the one where Max rescues Goofy?
Where Max rescues Goofy at the end, the climax.
Oh, yeah, that where they actually do get to fish.
I just know every time Goofy goes down the falls, like, even to this day, I'm just like, no, not Goofy, no!
Because the fishing...
They're fishing for survival.
The fishing also happens when they encounter Bigfoot. That's also the scene that stuck with me a lot, the Bigfoot scene.
Well, I think we can get into Bigfoot during the favorite moments. I think that's safe to say.
I think the overall message of this film is don't go fishing with Goofy.
And you know what's funny? I know I like how they added Bigfoot in Extremely Goofy Movie.
Yes.
In the, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you do think.
No. I don't want spoilers. That
we
awesome.
can't. Tiki hasn't seen it yet. We can't.
That sounds awesome, and I don't want to spoil it for myself.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. I'm glad it's there. I'll look for it.
BlueDragonFive, do you know what I'm talking about here?
I know what you're talking about.
So that's one character that's in the movie.
Yeah, but not Roxanne.
Yes, I know. That's what I was getting to.
Why am I thinking of Moulin Rouge all of a sudden?
He's not in that much. He's not in that much of Extremely Goofy movie.
Who,
No.
Bigfoot?
He's not in a lot of it. He's just like a small cameo, I thought.
Well, that's what I was expecting. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so let's move on to the continuity of the Goof.
So as you folks may not be aware, Goofy started off way back in the old days, back in just today's review. Pretty much Disney just kind of putting the pencil to the paper and just kind of putting things on screen, see what sticks, what people react to, and those characters would eventually get their role within the pantheon of the Fab Five.
Meet
The
Dippy
Fab
Dog.
Five.
Yeah, the Fab Five.
Meet Dippy Dog.
Yeah, I'm still not crazy about that name, the Fab Five. But anyway, yeah, you're right. So Dippy Dog was Goofy's original name, and he was just like a laughing guy in the audience with the famous Goofy Yuck Yuck.
Yuck.
Or some early variation on that. Very scruffy, too. Very old looking.
Yeah.
So Goofy is actually, out of all the Disney characters, I want to say he's the one who's had the most transitional look over the years. His look's always kind of varied, ever so slightly.
It's fair to say. That's fair to say. Donald did kind of go through a very dramatic transition in the early days
Have you
as
ever seen
well.
Donald's first appearance? I mean, he doesn't even look like Donald.
Yeah, it's pretty dramatic.
Oh, another thing to touch on is Goofy's original. One of Goofy's names was George, right?
George Geef. That was like during
George
his Everyman years.
Mm.
But have you guys like seen the Wise Little Hen, the first appearance of Donald?
Yes.
He looks nothing like Donald. It's just like a random cartoon duck.
I know. It's crazy.
But it's the same character.
Oh, look, it's Donald Duck. Let's go talk to him. And that was Donald Duck's first on-screen appearance, ladies and gentlemen.
Tiki, didn't you do like a video on that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, don't get into the hipster Donald chronological quest.
Oh, we need more hipster Donald, Tiki.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me.
Seriously, don't tempt him.
Hipster Donald is like my personal Dr. Insano.
He's on your cover photo on YouTube. You need to bring him back.
No, I can't get into the darkness.
Oh, he's retired. He's retired.
Let the hipster flow through you.
Oh, God.
Don't encourage him.
I probably shouldn't encourage that kind of stuff.
Don't encourage him.
Okay.
I had to bury hipster Donald with a shovel. I don't want to do it again.
All right, so we were saying about Goofy.
So before the Donald deviation, we're talking about this. Goofy start off. Sorry, what?
I said sorry about that.
No problem. So we started off with Dippy Dog, and then eventually Goofy gained a lot of popularity with kind of the famous trio that formed, the Trinity of Disney, so to speak. Donald, Mickey, and of course Goofy. Those three together in shorts really.
Holy Trinity.
Oh yeah, the Holy Trinity. Yeah, they're really
Sounds a lot better
working.
than Fab Five.
Yes. Anyways, yeah, the three of them would be bonding a lot of stuff. Like one of the famous ones would be Ghostbusters, not those Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, where they were like essentially almost like a detective agency that they'd pull a Scooby-Doo on a mansion, they would get rid of the ghost.
What's the name of the episode?
Except it goes for real.
Yeah, it goes for real.
Is that the name? Because I've seen it on several places.
The name was Ghostbusters. That was at least the organization's name was Ghostbusters. I want to say the shorts were also named Ghostbusters, at least the one.
I think it was like Ghost,
or Lonely Ghost. I thought it was. Or
the
something.
Lonely Ghost. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, the organization's called Ghostbusters, but you're right.
The Lonesome Ghost. That's it. Lonesome Ghost.
Okay.
I think that.
They go.
I'll take my word for it.
And something a House of Mouse, by the way, I love it when they do their shorts on the three of them in these situations, especially when they go up against the Phantom Blot.
Oh yeah, the Phantom Blot episodes were amazing.
Oh yeah.
Phantom Blot was so cool. But they heavily get into these shenanigans. The three of them.
In animation too, if you haven't noticed, that's the only time he's ever been in animation.
I think so, because he's been big in the video games.
Yeah.
He actually appeared in the comics, but those are the only times I've ever seen him in animation, other than Epic Mickey.
Yeah. Of course, the other thing the three of them were really famous for was Fun and Fancy Free.
Oh yeah, Mickey and the Beanstalk.
Oh yeah.
Yes. course, the famous cow scene, but I don't think we have time.
Where Donald tried to butcher the cow.
Oh God!
Yes.
Oh God!
Tried to butcher the cow.
I watched that like a couple of weeks ago on Netflix, and man, that was brutal.
Some other day we'll break that down.
Again, I can go on about the food animation in that one, but
Oh my God! Yes. Oh my.
anyway, so let's get to Goof Troop. So again, I'm sorry. Before we get, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry. We of course have the big thing. Kind of Goofy's popularity came from this one particular thing. This huge thing for him. The how-to shorts.
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, everyone's seen How to Ski.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that
My
one.
favorite one. That might be my favorite one.
And you'll notice in these, you really get to see all the little variations on Goofy, like the hairstyle change, like always like a little.
The real
element
star of that is
Goofy's
the
design.
narrator, though.
Oh yeah.
The narrator's the best part.
The narrator's hilarious.
Also, the driving. What was that?
Like basically, it's like showing you how to and how not to drive.
Have any of you
Yeah,
seen
the road rage episode.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen the home theater episode?
Yes, that was a recent one. That was
Yeah,
someone.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
That was hilarious.
No, I just think those shorts just have such a timeless quality to them. I mean, they stay relevant just as much as when they were first introduced.
They should really
They
make
do.
more of those.
And of course, the biggest one was in Roger Rabbit, the gym, the home gym one.
Right, right.
Even though that
Goofy, he knows how to do it.
even though at that point that movie takes place, that short hadn't even been made yet.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Well, it could be one at like early premiere. We don't know.
The Mary Poppins penguins were from like the '60s, and they're all in their waitressing.
Yeah. Well, again, they had work before the movie.
I guess so. You could look at it that way.
Yeah, plus stock characters. Maybe there were penguins in canceled movies. Getting work.
All right.
Anyway, with that though, with the shorts like that, like the Goofy in the home gym and all that stuff. I remember the House of Mouse. That was a big staple of them. When they played the clips, they would always play like a new version of the Goofy how-tos, which always catch my
I
imagination.
love those House of Mouse episodes.
Yeah, that's the thing. The House of Mouse was it doesn't get enough credit. That show really kind of captured kind of the essence of what Disney started off as with all the clips.
It got canceled, right?
No, I mean it had quite a few episodes.
Yeah, it ran for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know if it got canceled. I assumed it did. Like all the great shows that get canceled. That's my assumption.
I'm sure it just ended. Like maybe they just couldn't come up with any episode ideas anymore.
Well, that's the thing. It's also a thing of they went out of their way where they would get as much as they could with the original Disney voice actors because there was a club populated by Disney film characters, and they would get the original actors to do the voice for them as much as they could.
Have you guys seen the episode where Roy Disney actually guest starred in an episode?
I didn't see that one.
I did not know.
It's like where in that this is kind of off a tangent of Goofy a little bit, but long story short, like Mickey's told to like write a letter, like he's kind of writing letters. Like one was like a love letter to Minnie, the other one was like a hate letter to Mortimer that he wouldn't send. but he accidentally ended up sending thinking that he ended up in the hate letter to Minnie.
Oh no.
I think I remember that.
he tried to retrieve it, but it turned out to be her grocery list.
Yes.
It turns out the hate letter, like, I hate you with a passion and stuff like that, but it turned out he sent it to Roy Disney.
Oh God.
Such a fun show. Such a
Roy's
fun
like,
show.
what did I ever do to him?
Anyway, so
I'll
I
look
think
that up.
It's actually voiced by Roy Disney. It's actually Roy Disney himself.
I think that show again just kind of embodied what Disney kind of started off as, and it was a good celebration of that stuff. And again, I think it also kind of cemented some of Goofy's popularity after the movie. But getting to the movie, let's get to
I think they
Goofy.
should make a show like that again.
They should, but of that quality though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they hire the same writers, but still, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the classic Mickey Mouse from that one, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us, so it's still gonna be lacking a little bit of magic there.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But
Okay.
actually, have you seen the new shorts on Disney Channel? Those are actually really good too.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are hit or miss for me. We shouldn't spend too much time on those. But you always have the weird thing where Goofy doesn't wear pants in that version.
Well, in the old versions, he didn't wear pants either.
Yeah, I know, but it's like they really focus on it in this one, though. They really point out, yeah, it's weird that he doesn't wear pants. Like, no,
Like, Donald don't wear pants at all either.
that's the thing. The whole episode focusing on it's weird. Sometimes the new Mickey Mouse shorts are a little weird.
I think that's the idea, to make it like new and old.
Yeah.
And we're breaking off from Goofy.
Yes, let's get back to Goofy. So Goof Troop. Now we're on Goof Troop.
Okay.
This is where Goofy got a lot of his popularity.
Yeah, I mean...
That's where I actually first heard of Goofy. You know, when I was growing up and just watching cartoons, that's when I first saw Goofy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I didn't have access to the old cartoons of Goofy, so that's probably where I first saw him.
Now, let me tell you the weirdest thing about Goofy from Goof Troop, real quick here. Again, I'm not a huge guy on Goof Troop. It's nothing against it. I had other eras of Disney and other shows. I was less afternoon. I was more Saturday morning Disney.
Yeah.
But with that though, with the Goof Troop, the basics, and it does always seem interesting. Young Max, and again, Goofy was kind of my first one. Then looking back, well, there's more Goofy movie stuff. Well, it's too different,
Max is so much more likable and grounded in a Goofy movie than he is here.
Yeah, it's a thing. It was like it seemed a little less.
Day.
Like, to me, being first exposed to Goofy movie, I'm thinking that's a little less interesting than Goofy movie. Going to from that to Goof Troop, you can understand why I didn't stick with the show as a kid. But, with Goof Troop, there was this weird thing. Maybe this thing's always subconsciously threw me off, and even to this day, I was like looking at it today, I was getting ready for this. I was saying, what is always off with the Goof Troop Goofy, and what's the difference? And I looked at it, I finally figured it out. Goofy in Goof Troop, he has either, I think, if there's an intentional reason, it's because he's younger, and just to account for Max being young, if they try doing this, otherwise it's just really weird. Goofy, he has the extended face, so he has the skin of his snout around his eyes instead of Sandy. Can you provide us with a prop, please, for visual demonstration? Now you'll see right there, it's old Goofy in profile there. Right there, it's perfect. Now you see around the eyes, this is your perfect model Goofy. This is the Goofy we have to work with in the movie. The eyes are just connected to the black part, which is perfect, which looks great. Goof Troop though, the fleshy part of the snout and the mouth that extended around the eyes and gave him eyebrows, which always looked really weird.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
See, that was the issue. So here's the reason. It takes away from how naturally expressive he is in Goofy movie. It just shows the black is using it as a tool of you can be expressive like this, and they can do so much more with it aside from just you have to animate eyebrows, you have to animate the crow's feet.
Right.
It's weird. I'm sorry. Fond memories on Goof Troop though. What the big takeaway from it is.
I always enjoyed Pete's family more than Goofy and Max. I thought Goofy and Max weren't exactly likable in Goof Troop.
If I'm right, in the vague knowledge I have of Goof Troop, Max is kind of the schemer between him and PJ, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Max was just kind of a standard Bart Simpson style 90s radical kid, man.
And that's probably where they got all the skateboarding stuff with Max there on 4 with his character, just with all the 90s stuff from Goof Troop.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, but I won't deny any of that.
I mean, I remember the voice actor for Max really used to grate me.
Yeah, again, it just doesn't hold a candle to Jason Morrison.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
Who, what was his name again? The guy from Goofy movie?
Yes.
What was the guy who voiced Max? What was his name?
Oh, Jason Marsden.
Oh yeah, he
He does a lot.
Yeah, he was in Dark Harvest and Invader Zim.
Yeah. Please don't bring that episode up. I just went through the whole possum thing.
God.
No. The only reason I bring that up is
any episode but that one.
Jacob.
Yeah.
You catch that?
Yep, Dark Harvest.
Yeah. Just thought I'd bring that up.
Sorry, I just got bad memories of Dark Harvest.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird one.
Oh, it's a terrifying one.
But Peg always stuck out to me in Goof Troop. She was always one of the more likable characters to me.
Yeah, Pete
was Pete's wife.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Winchell did the voice for her, I think.
I want to say, yeah.
Who?
April Winchell.
Well, that probably was her. I mean, it kind of does sound like her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Winchell's daughter, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Pete was really the standout of that show. I remember also another animation thing. Again, just that when they not euthanized, because that sounds completely wrong. When they euthercized, I guess that's a little better. The characters, they made the characters younger. You'll notice like some animation oddities. They're like PJ has this weird. He has the single tooth look. You think of Patrick as SpongeBob looks terrible?
Who voiced him? Who voiced him in the original?
Well, he was the same throughout, so they kept the same voice actors. Rob Paulson.
Yeah, he sounds the same from Goofy Movie to Goof Troop.
And you'll notice PJ is an older variation on Carl Weezer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Always the same guy.
It's a slightly more confident yet more neurotic version of Carl Weezer.
Actually, I think he sounds a bit younger in Goof Troop.
Yeah.
He probably sounds a bit younger.
Well, it's less. It's kind of like.
I'm just saying, like from Goof Troop to Goofy Movie Max's voice changes drastically, where PJ's voice changes very little.
Well, that's just because they had a different voice actor than Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in animation it doesn't always work out. When you have the kid grow into the role, sometimes it sounds wrong. They were very lucky in Toy Story 3. John Morris, it sounds just right for us. He sounds kind of like the kid, and he has his own personality going on there.
And now we're really worried about what Steven Universe is going to do once that voice actor gets into puberty.
But we just think they're going to keep him on, though. That he's going to just kind of. We're probably just going to keep him on, explain the age on the show.
He's a full of gumball. What?
We're
not fans of the gumball.
I'm not fans of the gumball.
I'm not either.
I don't mind it. I never watch it. I don't really mind. I think it's stylized. I like that.
That's the thing that everyone gives it credit for that I can't see. I don't like that style of look at just.
I like the writing. I like the writing, personally.
Well, I like that they went, and they did that because no one's really done that before in a show on Cartoon Network. That's what I like. That it's one of the great things about Cartoon Network. They are open to new ideas.
I personally don't like Steven Universe.
Neither do I.
How dare you two?
Sorry.
How dare you?
You guys kind of hit a button with Tiki there.
No. It's fine. It's fine.
As long as you like Gravity Falls, and that's fine with me.
I love Gravity Falls. I love me some Gravity Falls.
Good. Maybe I should step out of the room.
Okay, so I think we should probably let's quickly go through.
Okay, so as I mentioned with Goof Troop, popular show, 90s big hit. Broaden things there. Importantly, so as I cannot find this for the life of me. I've tried looking it up, I can't find it. So, Goof Troop, either in the middle of their run or after their run. I'm thinking it was in the middle of their run. They just got canceled. That's what I'm thinking happened. Point is, Goof Troop, they figure on. Let's do a sequel. Not a sequel. Let's do a Goof Troop movie. That was essentially where the idea for the movie came from. Let's do a Goof Troop movie, and they realized, maybe it would be better to age Max up a little bit to tell a really compelling story.
Mm-hmm.
So they did that, and then of course they're aging Max up, and eventually ended up outlasting Goof Troop because Goof Troop was, I believe, unceremoniously canceled after 2 seasons, to my knowledge.
Sounds about right.
And my guess would be that they either got the idea midway through their run, and they figure, okay, let's do this. They're working on then to get canceled, and the movie's the only thing resulting from it, or they just figure somehow they're able, let's do a movie, and then just after the show went off, so let's do a movie, and people know Goof Troop, but they want a refresher on those guys. And that might have given them the reason, we don't need to really focus on the old Goof Troop characters, because it's like a soft reboot.
That's another thing. Peg isn't in the movie.
Yeah, and basically none of Pete's family members aside from PJ are in that universe.
But PJ is the only character they kept.
Yeah,
I gotta say, when Pete's camper shows up in the movie, I'm always wanting to see Peg step out of it.
What about their daughter? She wasn't in the movie either.
No, she joined the military. No, I have no idea what happened to those people.
I think they were just written out.
For all we know, Pete just murdered both of them.
But, you know, Tiki, there's this little thing that exists called divorce.
I'm
We're
sure
gonna jump to the legal option.
He's not the nicest person, but I don't think he'd go that far.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, he's never tried. Have you ever tried to kill Mickey Mouse?
I don't think so.
I'm saying
Shovel
usually
Slinger.
Not realistically, always using cartoon gags, I think, but that's about it.
Yeah, cartoon physics-wise, yes.
Oh, I think he owns I think he either owns or he like has some sort of deal worked out with Mickey for the House and Mouse Club.
He owned the club, and Donald and Mickey co-owned it or something like that. He's the manager and they co-own it or something.
Oh, you know what? That explains why I didn't know Donald's role in that. That explains why Donald's kind of dressed somewhat like Mickey with kind of the casual wear.
Like technically, Donald and Mickey both own the club, and they both own the club, and Pete, I guess, owns the property or something.
Yeah, it's something like, okay, back to, well, we're talking about Pete, so it's kind of relevant. But anyways, we're back to the Goofy movie. So again, Goofy movie is made and it outlasts things. It's so popular, it's so beloved, to the point where eventually it gets a sequel, extremely Goofy movie, which, well, I guess not warmly received, but I thought it was like a fun direct-to-video one.
Yeah.
There's some good things about it, so.
Yeah, again, I liked it, and I'm right. It probably doesn't hold a candle to the original, but it's fun. There are a lot of fun elements to it.
Yeah, it definitely can't beat the original.
Of course.
Plus, it was on VHS. It was straight to VHS.
Right. So also, we should probably take a moment to kind of track Max through all this, because I think we might have lost a little bit. So before we go through, Max actually started off as a character just called Junior in the old Goofy shorts.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until you brought it up earlier.
Yeah, it was just this weird thing I found out today. It was like the fact Max started off as a junior, and there was even a mother for Goofy, and I guess the official accepted continuity is like the mother died. I believe that's the accepted thing. That's what we all assumed.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah, but
he's never seen or mentioned anywhere, so.
Yeah, it's kind of dark subject matter, but then again, Disney's not afraid to axe the mommy.
No, they're not. Not at all.
Well, I mean, they have been known to go dark, but not usually with things like Goofy.
Yeah, but they will shoot a mother deer though. They'll do that.
Well, he was shot off screen.
His mom.
She was dead. Remember, she was kind of shot off screen, so you didn't really see it.
Well, someone tell that to Ringo.
Wasn't it Paul McCartney though? Or,
no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
or was it Paul McCartney or John Lennon?
There's so many people who were. It's oddly enough, so many people in the music industry were impacted by that moment. I kid you not. There were a lot of celebrities who were so impacted, and a lot of them in music impacted by the Bambi's death moment. I know we're wrong. It's an impactful moment. I'm just saying it's so kind of weird. Like they dedicate themselves to no hunting. Okay. So Max is established there, and of course gets a lot of popularity in Goof Troop, and then we get, we've been talking a lot about House of Mouse up to this point, so let's talk about Max's role in House of Mouse.
Yeah, he was the valet.
Yeah, which is always neat. You always love it sounds so simple. I just love Max just dressed up in like a little red vest with the white sleeves.
My favorite Goofy and Max episode from that is when they switched jobs.
Oh yeah, see, Goofy was the chef for the waiter, right? He's the waiter.
Yeah, he's the waiter.
Yeah, waiter, right?
He tried to they switched he tried to show Max how hard his job actually is.
Yes, and I remember there's that montage of all the stuff that's been switched around, and
then Daisy worked at the counter doing whatever
he signs in the guests.
Yeah.
And the idea Goofy's always spilling the food and stuff, and then of course in this.
Yeah, and then at the end Goofy's like your job's not. It's like my job is I park cars. It's like oh, it's not that hard. Then all the cars are stacked on top of each other.
I think the penguins do all the work. He just gets the credit for it.
Remember that part at the end though? See, all the cars are parked.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
There's a reason Goofy doesn't drive.
Well, we see what happens when he drives in this film.
Oh dear God!
Yeah,
nothing good. His insurance company must hate Goofy.
He doesn't do a bad job though.
Well, Don't
Not as bad
forget
as
when
you
he's looking
think.
at. He looks at the map while he's driving and access the steer him out of peril.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
probably.
they literally end up on a waterfall by the end of the movie. I'd
The
say
car blows up.
it's safe to say that Goofy's driving affected that car in some way, shape, or form.
It's a sturdy pacer, though.
It is.
Well, for the most part, it doesn't do bad.
Yeah, I mean,
You just forgot to put it in park.
I mean, nobody dies. So
True.
That's a bonus. That's a bonus.
Then again, Goofy has a healing factor, though, so.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. He does. I don't know. It's just it's cartoon physics. He's fine. But again, it's kind of like I remember the Despicable Me commentary kind of mentioning this, and it's very true. You know, when you have cartoon physics, you have this moment where overall it's, you can do whatever you want to your character if the tone's suggesting okay they're gonna be fine. But if everything turns serious, then of course you fear for your characters, and then the bullets start to hurt. That's the idea. That's the old adage. Then the rockets will actually blow our character up if the tone is now very serious.
Right, exactly.
Which this film gets there. Like ordinarily Goofy falls off a waterfall. Yahoo!
A classic example is What's Opera Doc.
Ah yes, if you kill the wabbit, he's gonna stay dead.
What, did you think an opera would have a happy ending?
That is one of the most beautiful Looney Tunes shorts.
I mean, it's beautiful, but it's not my favorite, though.
It's not my favorite, but I really appreciate it from an artistic point of view.
Well, yeah, but otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see. With the House of Mouse, of course, there's the episode. There's the somewhat continuity with this movie, where Max and Roxanne go on a date.
Oh dear God.
And again, it's older Max, so he's a little older than House of Mouse from the movie.
Yes, and he tries to impress her, and then nobody wants to embarrass him. Somebody to embarrass him.
Yeah, it's like when you go to like the hot spot in town. Roxanne wants to go there, and then he just sits down and says, "The guys just don't make a fuss over." And of course,
turns out the hot spot is where he works.
Yep, and of course even Mickey Mouse of all characters, everyone in the whole
no.
club is just making such a fuss on the two of them. And you would love this bit.
I think Mickey embarrasses him more than Goofy does.
Yep, and one of the most hilarious gags was Sebastian the Crab giving romantic advice and having a self-help book on how to hook people up.
What happened?
Sebastian, I know it was like one of they had these hilarious end tags, Tiki, on House of Mouse, where they have like a little product placement thing of like a Disney character plugging a product or something they do, and Sebastian the Crab had a self-help romance book, or like 5 steps to kissing the girl, to kiss the girl.
I think that's what it was. 5 steps to kissing the girl.
Yeah, something like that. And anyway, I guess there was all sorts of little meddlings throughout the whole thing. Anyway, she ended up loving it. It was a happy ending. Goofy, of course, he helped out in the end too. He was the cool dad. He was the one that actually told him, "Hey guys, stop! Let them get back to their date." That was Goofy. Lovable.
But then they broke up.
Yeah.
Or something happened.
No clue.
Maybe
Alright,
Pete
okay.
murdered her too.
No.
Man, that Pete should be locked up. He's like the king of the Disney of the Disney Fab Five, You embarrass me in front of her.
Oh God.
By that he means Peg. Okay, but speaking of the breakup, we should probably mention the kind of last continuity we really have with older Max is in Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas. Again, it pains me to mention this because I really hated that special, but there's a section within that of Max bringing home a girl from college he met named Mona. Because I'm pretty sure it's Mona, because the spelling it always looks like Moana, which we're talking about soon. I just want to make sure it's Mona. Pretty sure. Anyways, at points he brings this girl home, and he's just worried that Goofy's going to embarrass him. It's done very musically, very unnecessarily musically, and in the end, she's revealed to be kind of a goof herself, and she loves it.
Nice.
She didn't seem that bad. I like the animation design on her. Yeah, I'm a little put off by the teeth reveal at the end, but
what is this called again?
It's called Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, the CG one.
Oh, CG.
Yep.
Yeah, which let me end this on something a little more sweet here before we move on to kind of talking about the movie itself here. Let me talk about the Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, where we see younger Max, which is kind of our initially we thought our bridging device between Goof Troop and the Goofy movie apparently it predates Goof Troop. Just seeing young Max starting to become disillusioned with Santa Claus.
Well, I think I remember the advertising for this.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen both of these.
Seriously, Twice Upon a Christmas was such a bad idea.
All right.
I do remember the ads for this on the DVDs.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, Sandy, you were saying?
Oh no, I was just trying to... Oh, so it's a movie then, right?
Twice Upon a Christmas, yeah.
It's like an anthology.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of little vignettes and stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that.
Yeah, Once Upon a Christmas, though, is worth a watch, though. It's not the most amazing thing, but it's solid, gets you in the holiday spirit.
Is that 2D?
Yeah.
It's 2D.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
I think the best part. I think the best one is the Donald's nephew's wishing for Christmas every day. That's
the Groundhog Day
I have seen that,
homage.
That's probably the best one of those shorts.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciated the Goofy and the Max one because I felt like that was a genuine precursor to the Goofy movie in a better way than Goof Troop was in a way. Wouldn't you agree, BlueDragonFive?
Absolutely.
Actually, sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, because Max is younger in this than he is in Goof Troop, which means he's a little bit more humble and a little less like, oh, look at me, I'm like the cool, rad 90s kid.
And Pete's in it, too. No PJ, but Pete's in it.
And he's selling his 10-footers. You know, you got to get a Pete's 10-footer. I mean, come on.
They have an odd continuity thing with Pete where he's gray in one of the shorts and then he's black in the other. It's a weird thing just to delineate which Pete's which, I guess.
Like in Epic Mickey, there's like many Pete's, so where does that fit in?
It's like the multiverse of DC Comics, where you have the multiverse of Disney with all the shorts, all the various continuities of the shorts. Okay. Yeah, maybe we should get to our characters. Speaking of Pete,
let's do it. Let's
start with our protagonist. Though. Let's start with Goofy, voiced by the ever wonderful, the talented, the superb Bill Farmer.
Oh yeah!
Yay!
Yeah!
Yay! I haven't actually seen him. I've actually seen a YouTube video of him doing the Goofy holler.
Oh yeah. the definitive Goofy. I think we can aptly label him.
Yeah, for sure.
No one does Goofy. I mean, in his regular speaking voice, he's 80% Goofy in his regular speaking.
Hey, there's like he sounds a lot like the old Goofy too.
Yeah, and he studied him too. He studied kind of what he did, but he made it his own thing too. That's a smart thing you want to do with your voice. You know, it starts off impression, then it becomes just so iconic and so blending in with what necessitates in the story. It becomes.
And many people nowadays hear him so much as Goofy, he's pretty much become the go-to Goofy.
Oh yeah, again, all the House and Mouse stuff just brainwashed Bill Farmer as my Goofy.
And they have nobody else doing the voice of Goofy, so.
Yeah.
No, he's had multiple voices throughout the years.
Of course.
Like, funny thing, of the main trio, Donald is the one with the least amount of voice actors, with only 2.
Yeah, that's true. It's Ducky Nash, and then whoever they got to replace Ducky Nash.
His name is. I actually just forgot his name. I was thinking about.
Don't worry about it.
I'll look it up now. Oh, Tony Anselmo. That's his name. Tony Anselmo.
There we go.
He's actually an animator who got the job after Clarence Nash trained him.
Yeah.
So with this take on Goofy, he's allowed to explore more emotional depths, outside of the beloved clown we all know Goofy to be.
And oh my God, did they take advantage of it with this movie? Oh my God, there are some acting moments with Goofy in this movie where I'm just like, dude, I feel so bad for you. I feel so genuinely bad for you. Like, do you need a hug, Goofy?
You know what we need for this, Tiki? You know what we could use for this?
I told you what I would have
You
this ready.
did, but I have to make reference to just the callback. We need inside out tissues for moments like these.
I know.
See, the running gag here is whenever you have such a heartfelt moment, I think of all the movies this year made us feel this way. Inside Out was one of them, so we call back. We need inside out tissues. How they have Peanuts, little tissue bags, little square bags of tissues in them.
Yeah.
And the Peanuts brand of those, we thought, well, why not an Inside Out brand?
I mean, it just makes sense. Inside Out is all the emotions, right?
Yeah.
one of the ultimate tear-jerking movies.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, so inside adaptation, I'm gonna blow your guys' minds right now with a fact I found out in researching, which I'll explain the research at the end of this video where I got a lot of this from. Found out something about this movie that's kind of mind-blowing.
Which one? Goofy?
No, a Goofy movie, yeah.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, so apparently Jeffrey Katzenberg, yet again, the Toy Story wasn't enough for him. He tried, in his own way of helping, almost crushing the movie.
Black Friday. Yeah, I remember Black Friday.
Yeah, thankfully it's not as catastrophic as Black Friday to this production, but I mean, when your lead character is in the movie, this is kind of threatening, so we should address it. So Jeffrey Katzenberg originally wanted, for some reason, I guess because, again, coming from a place of wanting to help. So again, he's always a mixed bag with Jeffrey Katzenberg. I'm not going to get into the here. Point is, Jeffrey Katzenberg, he wanted Bill Farmer. He suggested Bill Farmer play Goofy in this film because it's a little more of an adult story here, and it's more of an emotional story. He's trying to play him straight. So instead of playing him as kind of the overly over the top Goofy, where he was like the garsh and the it's like the fun loving Goofy, play him just like as Bill Farmer is speaking normally, which is again a lot of Goofies in that voice already, but still it's really kind of bland though. It's like, well, it's like.
It's not as fun.
Exactly. So he basically wanted to take the fun out of Goofy, which obviously would have been a mistake. Bill Farmer, he recorded for like a few weeks as himself, and he kept driving home from the session saying, you know what, son, I'm not able to use the tools in my quiver. I'm not able. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. He talked over the director and the wonderful, talented director, Kevin Lima. Kevin Lima,
Tarzan,
by the way.
Tarzan.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Absolutely, Tarzan. Fantastic. By the way, Chris Buck co-directed that film too, by the way. Our Frozen guy. One of our Frozen directors.
Chris Buck.
Yeah. Very great creative team. I love Tarzan so much, but I can't get on that love fest here right now. But seriously, Kevin Lima and Bill Farmer kind of reached that conclusion. We're just going to do the classic good. Do what you feel most natural, Bill Farmer. And he did that, and of course, wonderful.
Katzenberg definitely did make some questionable decisions, but you can't question his output.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't question the dollar signs in Jeffrey Katzenberg's eyes. You cannot steer that down.
And now he's working at DreamWorks. So, he's one of the co-founders of DreamWorks. So,
yep, worked up the ladder.
And what I love is how Goofy is still, goofy in the final movie.
Yeah,
but he also has his serious moments,
That's what makes those serious moments stick so much, because how fun he can still be fun-loving and so full of hope, and when that hope is taken away from him, when he's silent, that's the scariest Goofy you can have.
Exactly.
When he gets so somber.
They definitely found a good balance there.
Yes. That was excellent.
Exactly, which is, again, you need the iconic character, but also at the core of it have like layers you never saw before, which infused brilliantly in this film. Yeah. Like, can you ever think of a somber, realistic Goofy before this movie?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think I've ever seen it again.
Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Again, Goofy movie, the sequel to Goofy movie is the only time we ever kind of saw that again, really.
But I doubt that hit the same emotion.
Well, not as much as this first one. I'm just saying it's still kind of in the same line of the emotion.
Can you imagine can you imagine the movie without everybody mambo?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same fun-loving Goofy, only with a layer of drama added.
It's like an extremely Goofy movie. It's more internalized. It's more like internalized thought rather than just kind of like these wonderfully directed moments of just kind of utter dejectment.
Yeah.
It's there though. So it's less artfully done as this movie does.
Although I think we can all agree that we'd all be a bit worried if our dad started dancing in a towel with a vacuum cleaner, going "Everybody mambo" in our room.
Yeah, you know what? I had a Spider-Man cardboard cutout for a long time that was very similar to some Powerline cardboard cutout.
Oh, I saw that, and I remember that.
I love the animation on that cardboard when he pulls it out of the thing. It's like curled and bent.
Would cardboard actually work like that in real life?
No.
You know what? Think about this. Again, with every little moment of this film, there's a gem there.
Yeah, totally.
When he does that, there's this really great subtle moment when he pulls the cardboard head out of there. He says, "Dad, you ruined it." And Goofy gives this really apologetic, "Oh, I'm sorry." It's like this. It's like there's the movie right there of Goofy is getting in the way with his classic antics of a son who does not want any part of those antics.
It's his classic antics get in the way of being a father.
Yes, again, that's the rift in their relationship right there. It's the stuff we love Goofy for, but yeah, again, that's what's getting in the way of him and his son. And there has to be a middle ground, which this film explores.
Yeah, really good concept right there.
Again, speaking of which, I guess, again, Goofy overall here, he's loving and concerned for his son, and that's the most compelling part of his character. He's just, no matter what he does, it's always, again, the best part about Goofy in this movie, he goes for fun over punishment when he learns about what Max did in school. He goes for like the fun approach of like, no, I'm gonna stick by him. I'm gonna stick by my kid, opposed to I'm gonna make him feel horrible about himself over. Like, it wasn't as bad. Again, there really is not discussion about what.
He almost unintentionally made him feel worse about himself.
Yeah.
Again,
I want to see you end up in the electric chair. Again,
that's the brilliance of Bill Farmer right there. It's that you get a hilarious read like that, but then followed by just kind of the sincere hug and the genuine emotions behind that. Totally. Because you get to have that over-the-top Goofy. The electric chair again. The electric characters can say electric chair and make it funny in a Disney film.
Yeah, only Goofy.
Only Goofy. Okay, I guess now we should get to our co-star of this film, Max.
Maximilian! Yeah.
Maximilian. It's Maximilian Goof. So again, voiced by Jason Marsden. And Jason Marsden, of course, known for many roles, like of which you got Richie from Static Shock, you got Chester McBadbad from Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, there's a whole slew of Jason Marsden characters. I could run out of ink writing down.
Chester McBadbad.
But in here again, this is probably his most iconic role, though. Out of all the roles, though, he's probably potentially his most, because he's just a real character. Though he's a '90s teen in this film. And he wants to impress the girl. It's a simple motivation. It's a very Marty McFly motivation, and
you really get to understand his character in After Today.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ah yes.
I just love all the moments with him and Roxanne where he thinks that he messes up, but it's what he does to mess up that makes Roxanne attracted to him.
Yeah, it's this really interesting. It's such a legacy. It's such a great legacy idea with giving Goofy a son that's explored through Max in this film. Is that the idea that someone who is subverting what he's almost genetically predisposed to, or at least what he's afraid he's genetically predisposed to, of being a Goofy character. He's just doing everything in his daily life, just kind of suppressed. He's like a little shy, he's a little self-contained to himself. That's why he's not really, he's like we've all been. He's kind of cowering the girl in the corner when the pretty girl walks in. He's doing that.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like he's self-conscious because he's afraid he's going to be embarrassing like his father. He feels he's embarrassed by his father at many points. He
needs to learn from Goofy that's nothing to be embarrassed about either.
Exactly. He hasn't learned just to embrace himself without regret, which is a good message. But still, Max is looking at the implications. If I go, I might lose sight of who I am if I do that. I could fail. I could burn miserably.
Well, that's where the middle ground comes in.
Absolutely.
Kind of like Charlie Brown, the little redhead girl.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just because,
In a way,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's what he does that makes it. Well, that's exactly the plot of the Peanuts movie.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. Yeah, Sandy. Actually, that is a good comparison because, literally the whole Peanuts movie, Charlie Brown is like doing these fuck ups that are attracting the little red-haired girl to him, and meanwhile he's just thinking like, "Oh, I'm a pathetic failure." Oh.
Well, it's because he thinks he's messing up, but it's the acts of kindness that. It's not because of all the screws. It's also the acts of kindness that he did that made it like him.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of message that self-detrimental fucks like myself need to listen to.
And again, it's to put it simply, he's self-conscious about being Goofy. Just if I could phrase it like that, he's self-conscious about being Goofy.
And he tries so hard to be cool that it ends up blowing up in his face.
Yeah. Again, it's just such a fascinating idea the opening of this film explores of he's afraid of becoming his father. It's such a wonderfully done sequence. He's idealizing the girl, and then of course he has like the Frankenstein, like the Wolfman transformation moment. It starts with the laugh, which is very pivotal because that's eventually what attracts the girl. She loves the laugh.
I love that whole moment when Roxanne imitates the high yuck.
Yep, you get the laugh, and of course, like the giant, the giant nose, and then of course, the ears, and the whole thing just turns into a giant goofy monster. It's hilarious. Yet again, there's so much psychological dimension in that opening for a Goofy movie.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. So again, he's put into a lot of uncomfortable positions. Max is in this film. Again, many positions we can identify with, such as the possum theme park.
Oh yeah.
We can see ourselves being very uncomfortable in that situation. Again, Max, you feel bad for him at certain points, but then at other points you know that he's kind of betraying his father. You're like, oh, Max, don't do that. No.
The whole thing.
Like I said before, there's a lot of times when I don't agree with him, with his actions, but that's one I can definitely see where he's coming from there.
Right.
I mean, that place is freaking crazy.
Yes. Like, kill it with fire.
I mean, nobody in their right mind would want to go there.
Yes. So, anything else to say on Max, or should we move on?
Just the whole thing. The whole thing with the map is just almost Shakespearean. And
don't talk about the map too much. You want to get to that.
Okay. Fair enough. No, let's move on.
Let's get to PJ.
PJ, oh yeah, Rob Paulson.
Wonderful Rob Paulson.
That was a terrible Rob Paulson impression. I apologize, Rob Paulson.
Can anyone do a good Rob Paulson impression?
Probably not.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, nurse.
Go Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. No, I can't do it. I can sing the song, but I can't do it in his voice.
What are we doing tonight, Brain?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
No, Pinky and the Bird. We're getting off topic. Wait.
I can't do Maurice LaMarche either.
Right, so PJ, I feel like he doesn't have a big role here, but
he's really Mr. Exposition in this movie. That's what he
basically,
is. He informs Max, like, the whole town's talking about it, Max.
And then he's on the trip with the at the camper and all that.
Yeah, he's the lackey. He's an interesting reflection of the parenting methods. That's what the kids are, It's like, if you had a father like Goofy, you'd have a kid like Max, who's self-conscious about being Goofy, and you have a kid like, father like Pete, you'd be subservient to that guy.
Okay, probably the most interesting scene with PJ is when Goofy and Pete are bowling on the top of the RV, which, by the way, how cool is that they have a bowling alley up there?
Someone needs to do that.
Oh, I know.
I remember, even I'm watching Hey Arnold when they have, like, the indoor bowling, I'm always thinking of that at the back of my mind, from this young viewing of this film. I always think of the most awesome bowling alley, the personally owned bowling alley I've ever seen was the one in the Goofy place, bowled on the roof of the RV.
So Pete, he rolls the ball, strikes out all but one pin. And,
that's a shame, Pete.
And then he yells at PJ to get up there and knock down the other pin. And it's like, that's parenting for you. Like, that's just such heartwarming parenting at work right there.
Yeah, subservience. Yeah.
Oh.
Then again, PJ is a good friend.
Under the thumb, Goof.
Under the thumb, Goof.
It's actually good. It's actually pretty close.
Yeah. I like the thing from Mickey's Christmas Carol. The fire. The fiery pit part.
Yeah.
Yours, Ebenezer.
Yeah. Why it's yours, Ebenezer?
Anyone do a good Alan Young impression? Scrooge McDuck. He's the guy who does Scrooge McDuck.
Oh God, Scrooge McDuck is so hard.
It's kind of hard to do Scottish. I can barely even do Irish. You have a lot of.
It's a deer, laddie. What you're looking at there is a deer.
That's 80 pounds! Okay, enough embarrassing ourselves, but amongst our voice acting betters, should they be listening, let's...
Oh my God, that would be humiliating if they were. Just absolutely humiliating.
There's Rob Paulson with, like, a giant big gulp just, like, laughing at us.
Oh God, oh no.
Well, we would be glad he's even watching this.
No, if Rob Paulson is watching this, I'd just be like, "Oh, I am sorry, Rob. I am so sorry."
Well, who knows? He might be flattered by us.
Hey, Maury, get in here! He calls Maurice LaMarche Maury sometimes.
Oh no!
Yes, look at them bombing.
I've actually seen. Have you guys listened to Rob's podcast?
Yes, I love Talking Tunes, the podcast, so much.
I've been sick for a week, and that has been like my sick, comfort food.
Did you watch the Brad Garrett one? Like I told
Of course,
you.
that was the first one I watched. Man, that was awesome.
I only listened to the one where he had Maurice LaMarche and they both acted up Pinky and the Brain.
Oh yes, the Christmas one they did where they were doing get a live reaction from the Christmas one.
They're Pinky and the Brain, and Larry, and Pinky and the Brain, and also Larry.
Billy West, God bless that.
And also Larry, and Larry.
Okay, so speaking of Rob Paulson,
too many tangents.
So in Rob Paulson here playing PJ here, he brings us kind of this great kind of, again, it's like Carl Weezer, but just like cranked up. He's older, he's more neurotic, he's slightly more confident, but he's just like, again, he's just so beaten down by just like society, just like saying, my dad is gonna kill me.
Oh God! Yeah, he keeps coming up with like these really elaborate metaphors for the terrible things Pete's gonna do to him.
Yeah, like
my dad's gonna squash me like a bug.
My dad's gonna squash me like a bug. Yeah, he just plays him so well. He's so likable though. You want to save PJ on some level. Like no, like don't let him get caught along with Max and Bobby. No. Because he doesn't want any part of this. Are you sure about this, Max? He says, yeah, PJ, I'll be fine. Anyway, so, he's a good friend. He's very, all these neurotic tendencies. He's so worried about letting someone down.
I like that he's in the movie at all just to kind of give a thorough line from Goof Troop.
He gets, Bill Jeff, PJ has some of the hilarious moments in the next one. Extremely Goof movie, he has a big role in that one.
Okay.
Not a huge role, but he has like a substantial role.
He's in more of it in the sequel than this one.
Right.
He's only really in 2 scenes. Well, technically 3. 3 scenes in this movie. Okay. The high school, the RV, and then the
hotel,
and of course there's a little one at the little cameo really in the Powerline concert.
Right.
Hey Dad, look, Max did it.
It's beer all over the TV.
Yep.
Food animation, because that looks exactly like beer would look on a TV.
Is that actually beer? Because I always thought it was like soda or something.
Yeah. I think for the kids it's supposed to be soda. I think for the adults it's supposed to be beer.
No, because with the color it could be either.
Yes, it could. Or it could be root beer, a little middle ground there. Probably beer. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about Daddy Dearest. Let's talk about
drink animation instead of food animation.
Yeah.
Let's go get schlockered with good animation. Let's do that right now, guys.
Alright, so Pete fascinates me in this movie because in his own mind, he's trying to, impart this genius parental advice on to Goofy.
So first of all, let's say this is some of the best Pete stuff ever.
Oh, I would, besides the 10-footers.
Yeah, what about the hot tub scene?
Oh, God, there is such a brilliant moment in the hot tub. Let's save the hot tub scene for a little later.
All right.
Just specifics of the hot tub scene, but there was a fantastic moment I can't wait to talk about. But
the whole scene with the photo shoot was my favorite all-time scene.
Let's talk about that now.
Oh, the photo shoot, absolutely.
When he glued the girl down.
He didn't glue her. This is great. I always love this in the end. He Velcroed her.
Yeah.
He Velcroed the girl to the... I just love the anime. You never see this. Like the guy splitting the Velcro. He opens a box, gets the Velcro out there. It's great. Again, the Jim Cummings does a really great performance here. You get so much dimension brought with Pete here. Again, just always that guy. You can't say enough good things about Jim Cummings.
Kind of like what they did with Goofy.
Yeah. And
I love Jim Cummings' work.
Yes, well, I remember Jim Cummings, he kind of said what it was like to play Pete in this movie. He said, he's the way he kind of usually plays Pete, but it's a little bit of slant on it. What he mainly kind of brought to him here is whenever he gets in character with Pete, especially in terms of a Goofy-related project, it's he just brings out the hilarious loud, just like the guy who, again, with Goofy, he's never really super malicious. Again, he's usually just kind of like the blowhard, just kind of like he's the guy giving him what he thinks is expert advice, as you said.
Yeah,
totally. It turned out to be terrible.
Yeah, and again, I love Jim Cummings just saying kind of like his favorite phrases with Pete, just kind of give him the, have voice actors will have like a phrase from the character, just kind of gets him in the vibe, and gets him into the voice. Where Jim Cummings here, he says, "I'm Daddy's favorite little tax write-off," or like world's best father, or like Father of the Year, Goof, Father of the Year, something along those lines. Or he's just this hilarious. Dumb loud. He thinks he knows everything, but he doesn't. He thinks he's the parent of the year. In his own mind, he's the guy we should be writing the parenting books and putting them on shelves.
Absolutely.
Such the opposite. Put them under your thumb, Goof, under your thumb. They have the hilarious They have the hilarious kind of okay thing to each other, the little thumbs up, like the wink,
Oh god.
Oh boy.
I so expected Goofy to fall off that roof, by the way. I'm impressed he did not.
But we'll get to it when we get to the dynamic of Goofy and Pete, but
Sure, but yeah, sure. I mean, overall, Pete just he's great again. He's just the most uninformed guy in the room, spouting the advice that actually does get our plot moving in many respects. He does.
Yeah, he does.
He's the one that gives the idea to go to the fishing trip.
Yeah, the father-son bonding, and he's doing that with PJ, and then gives him the idea.
He's the closest thing this movie comes to an antagonist, but he's not really an antagonist. He's more kind of like an annoyance.
He doesn't really go out of his way to stop Goofy at all.
Right, yeah. Right.
I mean, he has that one scene again, which we'll get to, where he is kind of, he's playing the angles. Like, he knows that he's right, and he's trying to. Basically, he's boosting his own ego at the expense of others, which is not nice, but again, not really villainous.
It's not really outright evil. It's just kind of realistic.
But there isn't really an antagonist in the film. If the main problem is just like the anger and frustration between like Max and stuff.
It's not really an antagonist, but more of a conflict.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so I guess speaking of conflict,
Pete is just more of a like. And kind of an instigator, like he sets the plot in motion, but he doesn't really affect it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he only cares about if he's right or not, if he comes out looking better.
He doesn't really affect it other than the map sequence at the pool.
Yeah.
And he doesn't say he should, and he doesn't say he shouldn't bond with Max or anything. He just believes he's right and then kind of pompous and righteous and all that. But other than that, he's not really a bad guy.
One thing I do want to point out about
Pete, the fat devil on the shoulder. That's what he's. He's the fat devil on the shoulder.
It's fair to say we're not the biggest fans of Max in the Goof Troop era.
Nah, not really.
And so think about it though. Goofy, Pete had to kind of raise PJ, and Max was always coming over, and Max was this annoying ass '90s kid, and. So, of course Pete would have a grudge against this kid.
But there isn't much continuity between the two, though.
Yeah.
I think there's enough continuity.
Other than PJ, there really isn't much.
Well, there's PJ, there's Goofy, there's Max, there's Pete. I mean...
Which, by the way, I just want to acknowledge, I love the fact that Goofy and then Pete just work together as child photographers at the mall or something. I just want to acknowledge, I love the just kind of the vaudevillian Abbott and Costello logic of that. If they work together, Pete's probably overqualified.
That's what I wanted to say for the dynamics, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll get to...
Yeah, it's all good. Let's go.
Pete for that job anyway.
Sorry?
I mean, they should have seen him would he be velcroing that girl to that? Is that a good idea?
Apparently, they just keep around boxes of Velcro, though, so it must be a common practice.
I love these boxes of Velcro. You never see that.
Another thing, in Goof Troop, Pete owned a gas station. He goes from owning a gas station to or a car repair shop to photo shooting kids.
Where you gotta go, you go to Pete's.
Oh God. Okay, so who's the next character on the docket?
Well, speaking of conflict, the character who's responsible for our conflict in many respects would be Roxanne, which by Kelly Martin.
She's one of the more underrated Disney love interests, in my opinion.
Well, there's a reason she's only in the movie for a total of 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't care if she's only in the movie for 5 minutes. I think she makes an impression.
Well, definitely. I'm not denying any of that, but there's like he's doing this all for her, so she's pretty much the reason for the plot.
Yeah.
But other than that, she really doesn't have much of an impact.
You're right.
My whole thing with Roxanne, though, is I just love the whole idea where, you know, Max is obviously head over heels for her, and then Roxanne, you know, she's starting to really get attracted to him, and and Max is just like, oh man, I'm screwing this up. I'm screwing this up.
Well, right off the bat, it's not a one-sided love interest.
Exactly. I love that whole dynamic. I love how she's kind of crushing on him, and he thinks that he's just an idiot, and she wouldn't have any interest in her.
I can.
And meanwhile, we have the dynamic with Roxanne that I was kind of picking up on, like, as an adult, where, you know, think about it. Like, Max gets super popular after his whole stunt with, you know, the Powerline concert thing at the assembly.
Yeah.
So I'm betting Roxanne probably thinks, like, well, you know, this guy's blowing me off because all these other girls want him, and why would he want to go with me now? So it's like, it's both of them are like having their self-esteem get in the way of being together.
And I can kind of relate to Max on a level there. Like, I looked back and like, oh crap, that girl might have liked me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we all have. I have stories like that. Definitely.
Yeah, I can think of a few right now that. Possibly. Yeah. I'm not gonna say outright they did, but like they hang out with me a lot. They did that. Like, I think they like me.
Hi, girl at the clock tower at the JC who said hi to me that one day, and I was a complete dick back, and I think you were in my class, and you were probably crushing on me.
Okay. Yeah. I think the message is women be more expressive with your feelings, but that's
It's actually more my side than them, so. I mean, I could have done something, but I was like, wait, what? Years later, I was like, wait, what?
I'm kidding. Relationships are complicated beasts.
Oh God, yes. But
speaking of which, getting back to this, you know, I think Roxanne, she's a solid love interest in many respects, despite her limited screen time.
Even though she doesn't have much development as a character either.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But I think, like I said, I think her development just kind of stems from the fact that she's self-conscious about whether or not Max would want to go out with her to begin with.
You know what, Tiki? I gotta bring something up when you're mentioning that, because I don't know what reason was rewatching. Because again, as much as I can remember all these with vivid detail, because again, it's such an impactful movie. Rewatching it though, just this. I remember the bit though where Max is like, you know, putting her on the porch swing or whatever it was, like the porch, you know, lifting her up there, and the father gives her the.
Oh my God, the father's amazing.
The father was so brilliant.
He doesn't say anything though. He
doesn't want to say anything to Max.
I just want to know, what did her mother look like? Because her father looks like that. What was her mother?
No, her mother must have been a knockout.
Yeah, but it's like think about it. He spawned that.
Right, and again, the most hilarious moment with her father is when he gives her brilliant bit of animation. She looks up at him like the father looks down at her. He gives like this loving smile, like pats her on the head, and then gives Max like off my lawn, that sort of thing. But no, but seriously though, here's the thing, Diggy. So when Max is like having a little conversation with her there, I didn't get the whole. Rewatching, for some reason, I didn't get the whole, like, she feels inferior. Or not inferior. She feels that Max is getting all popular.
Yeah, I never really...
I didn't get that. I don't know why... I don't know if it was this viewing or if it's not there at all, because the way it reads to me, rewatching, was that Max... He gives a legitimate excuse. He's saying, well, I gotta go to the same with my dad. And then she says, okay, I get it. Which, you know, that's an apt response. Yeah, I get it. But then you get a sense she doesn't get it, though.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying, well, I'll ask someone else. I mean, she's kind of putting Max in a position there. Obviously, lying is not ideal, but still, he's laying out the truth for her there, so it's kind of a question, what else can you do in this scene? Again, it's the only I have very little weak points with this film at all, and that's pretty much the only one.
Fair enough.
It's basically that which gives us the lie reveal, of course. But again, the way the build up to the lie reveal, that's how you do kind of make it compelling, though, when you do lie reveal.
Oh, I barely even think of the story as a liar revealed storyline, because the lie itself isn't really a big point of conflict.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, all the build-up and everything surrounding it, though, I mean, it kind of gets you to this point of, it's not going to last. That, in terms of that's the liar reveal. But again, the stuff building around, like, the reveal itself is so compelling, you kind of forget about it.
Right.
Which is impressive. That's always kind of a hard mountain to climb in storytelling, the liar reveal and how to make it compelling.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm sorry, anything else you guys want to say about Roxanne?
Not in particular.
I think I've said my piece about her. I mean, there's not really much else to say about her, considering she wasn't really in it that much.
She's got a great design, though. I like her design.
Oh yeah.
House of Mouse didn't have a good design for her, though. For some reason, they made her. It's like Max looks like he's aged a little bit more. Like he's like the college. Like they use the college model on Max, but they still use the high school model on her. It looks a little off.
Mm.
I don't know. It's like
she didn't really look much different in House of Mouse.
I don't know. It's like she's shorter than him, and it's just like she's still stuck in that. I don't know. It's like they use the same model, but again, same model from two different movies. I mean, it was the same model for her from Goofy Movie, him from Extremely Goofy. I don't know, it was like he's taller than her. It always looks like, I don't know if she was just supposed to be tiny or what.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minor thing. I don't think they got the same voice actors back for House of Mouse for some reason. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, they do sound a bit different.
Yeah, it might have been it. Anyway, so I guess we should go to our the cheese of the film, perhaps. The 90s cheese of the film. Not just the cheese, the 90s cheese of one of the biggest 90s cheese stars.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Bobby Zimmerowski, otherwise known as...
Bobby.
Or...
Pauly Shore.
Yeah!
I mean, the fact that Pauly Shore voices this character does absolutely nothing to detract from my enjoyment of this character.
Yeah, the only good movie Pauly Shore was in.
Yes!
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this movie, what compelled them to put him in this movie?
And he actually does fondly reflect on this movie.
Yeah, because it's the only movie he was in that got good reviews.
Well, it's odd. I looked at the Rotten Tomatoes thing. Again, the critics are mixed on this.
Yeah, I checked that too.
The fans love it, and here today.
Well, Third got mixed reviews, but the other films he was in, probably didn't get any good reviews at all.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair. Like, I can imagine if I had done like a 5%, that'd be my guess.
On the Rotten Tomatoes for Goofy Movie, it's kind of like, it's a family film, right? I mean,
yeah, they kind of roll it off.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, technically, it's not in the Walt Disney line of films. It's a direct-to-video, so it's like it
was released in theaters, just not.
It was.
It was.
But it was something like not part of the WDAS canon.
Yeah.
But also, like, a weird thing, or if I'm right, this one came out rather quickly once it was out in theaters on VHS tape, but I could be wrong there.
That would explain why I remember it on VHS and have no recollection of it being in theaters.
You guys know why I didn't. Well, you guys know why I don't remember it being in theaters. I wasn't even a year old yet.
Yes, you were a fetus. I get it.
I wasn't a fetus when it came out. I was like less than a year old.
I know. I'm kidding you.
I was a fetus when it was in production, so.
God.
You were a production baby. Oh no.
I wish.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so Bobby
being a production baby in animation. Seriously, it is, folks.
I'm just going to outright say it with Bobby. Pretty much every single one of his lines is a thinly veiled drug reference.
Oh, come on.
The cheese has got to be a fucking drug reference.
It is not. It can't just be cheese.
Yes, it is. No, it can't just be cheese.
No,
it can't.
Considering Pauly Shore probably is a drug reference.
But it's cheese. It's fun cheese. It's artistic sculpted cheese.
Well,
it's like drugs, BlueDragonFive.
Like a parody or whatever.
Why can't it be? Why does every substance of this movie have to be drugged?
Okay. I'll give you two examples. One, he gets it in a very conspicuous way. He pulls it out of the paper bag, and he's like, "Oh, it's the cheese."
That's because they couldn't have him have a big payout. Obviously, Max wouldn't have a lot of cash to give him.
Exhibit 2. He gives the cheese to Max to hold on to in a very conspicuous, like, here, don't let anyone touch this, bro.
Guard this with your life, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I thought that was just like such a coveted item.
And also in the fucking Powerline concert, he whizzes out all the smoke and he's like, a little smokage. Ow!
I don't get that.
Smoking. Smoke. Marijuana.
Oh. Oh.
Tis,
there's a reference to the cheese in the second one, right?
Yeah, there's we get the nachos.
Okay,
Well,
that is the silly dark comedy joke that I will point to that probably doesn't have much merit to it. There is another bit of dark comedy in this movie that I will point to that you can absolutely not deny whatsoever.
A lot of, if you think about it, a lot of these Disney movies made in the '90s have a lot of like very adult humor in it.
Oh yeah.
Like especially Hercules. Hercules.
Yeah, a lot of adult humor. Yes.
Tiki, lay out some examples of these things.
Well,
Maybe
I have one
entendres.
specific example but we'll get to it when we get to the song that it's in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, I know you're talking.
I haven't seen it in a while. I don't know what you're talking about. What song is it in?
On the Open Road.
Yeah,
I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Trey.
I think I remembered, but I'll just wait to see what you say.
All right.
Okay. So I think we're through our characters now. Just get to our main dynamics here. So we got our Biggie, Goofy, and Max.
Yeah, we've already talked it through, but it's just a big high point of the movie. Is just all these interactions that Goofy and Max have. It's very realistic father and son. There's no
Both
real
Goofy cartoon physics thrown into it.
Oh yeah.
It's relatable father-son in the transitional years. It's such a relatable story.
What I love about it is that there's no real thorough line of like, oh, Max is happy and now he's sad and now he's happy. No, it's like there is a mix of emotions, a range of emotions throughout the whole movie.
And even Goofy's feeling that as a parent too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think once I become a father, well, not that I'm far ways from that yet. I might be able to relate to that in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I'm far from being a father. I'm not even in a relationship right now, so yeah. But I could relate to that. I mean, seeing it as like a fatherly perspective, I could relate to that.
I can relate to the fatherly stuff to a certain extent when it comes to my little brother.
Well, I am the little brother in my family, so.
But my little brother has autism, so I've always been the one that's really like looked after him and everything like that.
Like I have Asperger's, so.
Well, no, but I have Asperger's too. But my little brother has like he's nonverbal.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyways.
Right. Yeah, I think the emotional conflict kind of boils down to it's kind of like Goofy's on the side of kind of it's love, like fatherly love, and just kind of love for everything. It's kind of love met by the Goofy's conflict is love met by perception and time. It's like how perception is kind of Max's ordeal, like how he's so conscious of like how he's perceived and like concerned with how people are perceiving him and his father and so on and so forth. And how he fears again one day he will become his father and how he will be perceived then. But again, it's just like Goofy's conflict just is making peace with the fact his son is growing up, and he's concerned with how he's perceived. So again, it's just like the lovable goofiness just kind of being confronted by those undeniable factors.
And he wants to recapture a bond with him that he doesn't want to die.
Yes.
He wants to recapture that bond they had.
Yeah. Absolutely. He wants to keep the flame burning. He wants to keep that love burning. And it's
one of the most beautiful lines of the movie is, I know you have your own life, son. I just want to be a part of it.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, God.
And, it's like their goals, what's so brilliant about their dynamic here is that their goals are in conflict with each other. And, again, this leads to kind of these heartbreaking betrayals and discussions with each other.
I mean, do you think Max had, before the whole scene at the end when they're singing, do you think Max actually still loves Goofy at that point?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you mean specifically?
I mean, do you think he actually cares about Goofy at all throughout to that point? as a
Yeah,
father.
I very much think that he cares about Goofy.
He just doesn't want. He just doesn't want to be seen with them or be a part of his family or whatever.
I think he still loves him.
Well, I think the whole point, the whole point of the road trip, and we saw like with the montage and everything, is that they do gradually get closer with each other.
Yeah, they do. That's the thing. They love, they love each other, but again, it's reality's kind of bleeding in there. Again, it's the middle ground. It's what they're finding there. It's like, Max, he loves his...
It's definitely more seen in Goofy than it is Max. At first, like, you can tell he still deeply cares for Max, but you can't really see that in Max.
Well, no, I'm saying you get moments like the soup, and you get moments of like, Max like taking him to see the yarn house, or the yarn museum. And again, during there's that great montage of them kind of now they're on the same. Because again, it started off of Max kind of picking the locations, and then where Goofy was like, again, he's giving the old college try there. No sequel pun intended, but he's he's giving the effort there, and he's just trying to he's like getting sick on the rides, and he's like looks at the sight of the food like he's giving it a try. Like Monster Gals, it's too loud for him, but then again they get to this groove with each other as they change the tire.
It's too loud for Goofy at the monster trucks, but Max looks over, he sees that, and he genuinely feels bad.
Yeah, and then, again, it's like Max gonna learn from that. And then, of course, you get that tire thing, which is just great, like montage of the tire, and they finally, like through sheer Goofy accident, they finally changed the tire.
I just wondering what you guys thought of that, because it's definitely more prevalent in Goofy, but there is a bit of it in Max as well.
I think it's with Max, just it's kind of clouded by him overthinking things. Yeah. I think at its core,
not wanting to end up like him.
Yeah,
I think through the whole thing, Max. I think through the whole thing, Max loves his father, but he's in conflict with him. He's confusing those feelings of like, I don't like him in this moment, so I think I don't like him, but he really, at his core, he knows he loves him.
Yeah, like he loves him. He just wants him to, keep his distance.
And every child goes through that at one point.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's also kind of a meta thing too when you think about it. It's like, you're Goofy by definition. You screw things up. I just want you not to screw up my life. It's the thing of like, I'm bringing you joy. I'm bringing you laughter. It says, no, you're bringing me hardship. Then you're wrecking everything. It says, oh, it's just great back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a buddy movie between father and son, That's what it is. Again, you get these heartbreaking moments of, like, betrayal from Max with the whole map thing, which you're going to get into in a minute. And, of course, you get this great discussion, too. Just actually with the betrayal, with the discussion, of course, the moment with the realization over the map. In the end there, when they make the turn and they kind of pull off to the road there, pull off to the side, you get such realistic, angry animation.
Like Goofy.
Oh, my God.
Like Goofy was hoping that he wouldn't actually like Goofy knew that he'd changed the map, but he was hoping he wouldn't follow through with it.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
Again, just arming such brilliant. I'm amazed at how much thought was put into the writing of this.
And Max thought that Goofy wouldn't notice, but Goofy was well aware.
Absolutely, just like the animation on Goofy's face there was like, he knows. He's just like so.
He was visibly pissed.
Oh yeah,
like you were saying, Dragon, that moment where he just pulls off to the side of the road and gets out, slams the door, looks out over that canyon, and just is steaming. It's like, oh man.
Because Goofy is rarely ever truly angry or.
That's one of the few times he's actually been mad and angry in anything he's been in.
And again, the movies are the only thing that really explore kind of angry Goofy, aside from just comedically frustrated Goofy. He's actually angry.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of comedically frustrated, but this is just Goofy being straight up pissed off.
Yeah, just like he is. And it takes a lot to get Goofy pissed off.
Angry.
This is a guy who's like, you could throw him off a mountain, he'd still be smiling. It takes a lot to get Goofy pissed off.
Because being thrown off a mountain and surviving versus, being betrayed by his only son.
Yeah. Like, stab the Stabathy,
Oh, like a line from Roger Rabbit says, "So double bridge on him, they'll shake it off, but break his heart. They go to pieces like you and me."
Yep, that's a brilliant. Thank you for that reference. That works perfectly. We're getting that there.
Trust me, I know my Roger Rabbit.
And again, all this with their dynamic here, it's all out of this place of love. Or as we mentioned, one of the most brilliant lines in the movie, he wants to save Max from the electric chair.
The electric chair!
Yeah. And again, so with the electric chair, they want to mention it. So again, it is a complex thing where, again, Max, if you just sat down and told Goofy, it's the specifics of it. No, it wasn't actually, because the principal overhypes it, the great Wally Shawn, which we should probably mention here now, so we don't forget about him.
Oh, yeah.
The great principal, as he oversells. Again, he does all he was really kind of able to do is just like tell the parent what's going on with the kid, so they can then exactly discipline. Because again, it's the end of the school year, so really no. Again, he's graduating. Yeah, he's graduating high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, with the graduation high school, there really not much the principal can do to him except just make his last moment a living heck.
So Wallace Shawn showing up as both the principal in this and then Rex in Toy Story, like, literally made me discover what voice acting was.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it, and I didn't get it until years later. I was like, wait, why does he sound like that guy?
Well, no, to me, I was like, oh, this sounds like the same person, but the principal character is kind of angry and kind of an asshole, whereas Rex is just, like, naive and lovable, so it's the same voice, but he's doing two different characters. It's voice acting.
Then he was also a jerk in The Incredibles.
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, that is one of the best roles, Sean.
Mr. Humph.
His Huff.
The world is like an enormous clock. Yes, Bob, yes.
Mesh together.
That man out there, he's getting like, do not change the subject, Par.
Yeah, the guy's being robbed. They're like, do not. Like, good.
Well, let's hope we don't cover him.
Stop right there, or you're fired.
We're supposed to help our people.
That's kind of funny there. You almost lost your gem.
Uh-oh. And just a little... Uh-oh.
Okay. Back on the point is with Wallace Shawn there. What he's saying there, he's just kind of making it all sound gloom and doom, like he incited a riot. That's what he made it sound like. Your son incite. He's wearing gang clothes and he was inciting a riot. That's what he made it sound like.
Exactly.
Again,
even though it's just putting on a concert.
Yep, and again, the principal is mainly. I love how they modeled the principal after Richard Nixon. By the way, I think that's hilarious. But, he's just making it all sound gloom and doom. And again, if that was kind of clarified, as he tries to do when they're kind of blowing down the waterfall there, is he's pointing out, no, that's not what happened. It's just, again, they don't really hash out those specific details. It's about the grander, broader scope there of, like, you might be heading in a bad direction without me. And, it's just the fear every parent has. Like, when Goofy gets that call, that's such a great moment. Just Goofy gets the call and says, oh no, his first instant reaction. This is a parent that cares about his child, and it's so great about this. That he gets a call, he says, it's the principal. Oh no, is Max okay? Is he okay? That's the main concern. That's a loving father right there. Then of course just begin the lighting and everything in this movie. So it's like a dark environment, like looking through the blinds or something. And he just
I got the call at the mall. Didn't you get the call at the mall when you?
Yeah, you got the call at the mall.
Yeah, and like everything switched from all bright and happy with the pictures to all dark and glim.
Yes.
Glim, like that's a word.
It's like this great moment of, he gets that call and he says, your son, if I were you, I'd reassess your parenting. And then, this Goofy, like, you hear the dial tone, he just drops the phone, like he's been shot, he's like, oh.
Like, my son did this?
Yeah, like you don't seeing every parent has had this reaction. You can assume every parent has had this moment of like just that crushing defeat of like, oh no, something's wrong with I'm bad as a parent. I'm a failure as a parent. My child is in trouble because of me. Just like slumps down in the chair, like his whole world has collapsed around him, and then you get kind of like a Pinocchio style blue fairy light of savior, where just that blue light from the little fisherman's display encases the room. And then he just like looks through the blinds and he sees the thing. It's like you hear like the operatic cue, and he picks up the little fisherman thing. I have an idea, Pete. I'm going fishing.
The little girl, fishy.
Oh God.
Without her Velcro.
No, without the Velcro. She took the diaper off.
Yeah, I know it's without.
And then ran off after.
Yes.
And then the nuns are looking at her like, oh.
See, there are a lot of nuns in the movie, by the way.
The nuns are a conspiracy. The nuns follow them everywhere. The nuns are the villains.
The nuns are at the monster truck rally, and
yeah, right.
They're
the Illuminati SandyClaws. I tell you.
Okay, let's see.
Monster truck rally.
Okay, now let me mention my favorite kind of thing. Again, another thing that just kind of sums up the whole movie, the whole conflict of the movie brilliantly. There's one little subtle thing. When they're arguing, going down the waterfall, there's this fantastic bit where they're arguing, and you see Goofy's physical comedy as he's trying to get back in the car. As they're arguing, like, you locked the car, and as Max points out, no, you locked your door. All the stuff as they're just kind of bickering back and forth with each other because there's, it's like classically when you're angry about one thing, you're not really angry about the whole thing entirely.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is, like, as that whole sequence is going on, Goofy's still doing his comedic physical comedy shtick, where at the same time he's doing his classic Goofy stuff. He's having there's such emotional drive behind what's happening while the surface Goofy stuff's happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the movie on a whole. It's like you see something called the Goofy movie, thinking, oh no, it's just going to be silly Goofy doing stuff for 90 minutes. But no, actually, it's all this stuff motivated behind the classic Goofy veneer on the top. And in the end, Dad comes through. Goofy comes through in the end, where Max accepts his heritage. That's the arc. That's where it pans out to in this wonderful way. After they hash out their stuff, after they kind of get on the same page, well, I'm going to get you on that stage, Maxie. And he does. In the end, he comes through, and it's awesome. And then, of course, in the next regard, and we'll get to this in the next character. I'll save it for that. But the point is, Max accepts his heritage by being, maybe being Goofy isn't such a bad thing. My father came through for me. He turned out to be my hero. It's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So, perhaps we should go to our next dynamic.
Yeah, what would that be?
Max and Roxanne.
Max and Roxanne. I feel like we broke this down pretty well. It's just
when we talked about her as a character individually.
Yeah.
And again, it's something we should probably address with Roxanne. Again, Roxanne is potentially kind of a weak point in the movie, and not a bad weak point.
I disagree.
Well, let me see. Again, as I mentioned, the whole.
She's definitely the reason Max is doing all this.
Yeah.
But other than that, she doesn't really do much.
Well, that's my problem with it. Again, I think Tiki's either you guys see and I didn't, or what. But by the way,
She makes an impression on me, man. She really does.
I'm with you. She's good in that respect. I'm with you there. It's just it's the porch bit that keeps sticking me there. It's just like it seems like the way it plays to me is that she's interest based on a lie. It's like she's interested in Max based on that lie. Again, the lie is the hard sticking point there. Again, it pays off very well.
No, she was interested in Max based on the high yuck. She said right at the end of the movie, I liked you before that, Max. Hello?
Yes,
hello?
Okay. Yes, you're right. Again, the ending, I get that. That's great. I'm just saying in the beginning there, it seems as if she's just interested based on a lie. It's like, it's the whole rationale.
I literally just laid out why it's not. So I don't know. I rest my case. I'm done here.
Okay, I'm just saying the moment for me is when, real? Sure.
Drop the mic.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else?
Where'd he go?
He's coming back.
He's probably like standing behind the camera or something.
Get back here!
He's still there.
Get back here! You're fired.
Oh, you're fired.
Yeah, he's like
referencing Goofy movie 2, folks. By the way, you're fired.
Can we fire our host?
No. Yeah, we can give him the merit.
I just feel it doesn't. I mean, it always worked for me, up to seeing the sequel, Show Me a Goofy Movie. Right. But after that and seeing that Roxanne's not in that, it just didn't work as well for me. Just because that seeing that relationship isn't as strong as we thought it was, whereas they broke up less than probably a year later.
Yeah, well, I tell you, the only sticking point I have with Roxanne is that she has this rational. Yeah, basically, she just instantly sounds like she's going to go with another guy, though. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I see your point.
And then Max points. Then it seems like he has to come up with the lie just to keep her interest. Of like, again, Max isn't. He's just laying out the truth for her, and she should be able to accept that if she likes him. That's my sticking point.
Yeah, you're definitely right. That's a very good point.
Again, I love the explanation, the ending. Again, it's the only the reason for
I'm
the
not
lie.
hearing this. I am not hearing this conversation.
You
right
mean like
now.
when, again, you leave during the wrong parts?
I left specifically because I don't want to hear what the defense against her is.
Well, how
It's a very good defense, though, Tiki.
How else would you know what we're talking about?
Because I don't want to hear. In my mind, Roxanne is an awesome love interest.
I like her. I don't have anything against her. I just have against the situation.
We're just saying that she doesn't have much of an impact on the plot.
Oh, don't.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. So she's again in the end, just to kind of sweeten it here. In the end, she is impressed by the lengths. That's the thing. That was where I was won over by her with, again, the circumstance. I'm still a little wary on, but I love the realization by her that she's impressed by the lengths of which Max went to impress her. Yeah, he said again the lie, whether he'll concede.
But she was into him before the lie. She wasn't attracted to the lie. She was attracted to him.
Yeah, we understand that.
Yes, I'm saying in addition to that priest, I was saying why she's interested. But, she's interested. I'm just saying she's also impressed by the fact that he went through all of that to just to make the lie true, and she's still impressed by it. And he managed to deliver on that, saying, "No, that's impressive. Man, that's a highlight of her character. Like, she should be able to see past the lie. It wasn't like, you lied to me. Get out of here." But yeah, she liked him from the beginning, as you said, and she's impressed by the lengths he was willing to go for, and it ends up with this really sweet kiss.
Auntie Skylar.
And then it ultimately ends up with the breakup. That's how it ultimately ends.
Thankfully, we never see. They kept it vague in the college one. Basically, until I found out about the thing today, I just assumed Roxanne was still in the picture, but on like a long-distance relationship. So again, folks, moral stories: just don't watch Twice Upon Christmas, and your illusions will be fine.
You guys literally resorted me to drinking. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy.
We did nothing. We didn't do that.
I watched this movie last night, and I was like, oh my god, this love story with Roxanne and Max is fucking beautiful. I can fucking relate to it on so many levels, and you have to go.
There's nothing wrong with the relationship. It's
I hit the booze, my friends. I hit the booze.
Tiki, if you're that light on things, then by the end of this podcast, you're going to be, like, asleep.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
You're going to be laying on the camera.
Okay. We weren't saying anything bad about it. We're just pointing out
Yeah, we like her. We like Roxanne. Just,
all right, fair enough.
The lie is kind of a clumsy way to get the plot started.
And this is a clumsy excuse for me to drink on camera.
Well, I hope you gargle with it.
Better blow it out so we don't get sued for product placement.
Oh.
Where's the Crimson Toro, Tiki?
Oh, God. I know, we need a Crimson Toro.
Okay, and so she's impressed by the lengths of which she went to impress us. Yeah,
all right, so
she likes the goofy side of him.
Next dynamic?
Yeah, right. So we got Max and PJ. Not a lot there. It was really good. They have a great rapport. There's a great sense of history communicated by our actors. They have
a good camaraderie.
Yes. It's great camaraderie. Again, it's like the pessimistic versus the optimist. And again, Max in the beginning is the optimist, where PJ is the pessimist.
But I think at the end, PJ grows a bit out of his shell a little bit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, remember we see him dancing in the. He's inspired by Max from him dancing in the concert. As he inspired many others.
I might not be remembering this correctly, but doesn't he briefly stand up to Pete too?
No, I don't think so.
I think he does. I think he does briefly.
Well, how does he stand up to him?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I'm pretty sure he just says, "Look, Max made it," and then Pete spits on the thing, and I think that was it for him.
Oh, okay.
I can swear I once saw something, or maybe it was just me imagining things where he stood up to him for a little bit.
It may have been in like something else.
Yeah.
And then it just got turned around real quick, and then Pete did something and he immediately went back on it.
That may have been a Goof Troop.
Maybe.
I don't think it was Goof Troop. I don't know.
Maybe it was.
Maybe it was just imagining things.
It was the sequel. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that either, because he didn't really interact with Pete that much.
Well, it was the opening.
It wasn't in the sequel.
Okay.
Like I said, maybe I'm just being crazy.
But Fella, I think you might be a little crazy on this one. I'm sorry. I think you might be a little smidge crazy.
Or maybe I'm just misremembering something.
Okay, let's see. So, PJ, nice. Okay, then we get Bobby and Stacy real quick. They bond over spray cheese.
Yes. I don't know. I don't have anything to say. I just think it's a nice little, like, bookend.
Yeah, that's never brought up again.
No.
You look Pauly Shore in the eyes and you bond over the love of cheese. Aerosol cheese.
Or in Tiki's book, drugs.
Hey, baby, let me show you my cheese.
Or in Tiki's book, drugs. In Tiki's book.
Yes.
Hey, baby, let me show you my cheese.
Oh, God.
The Leaning Tower of Cheese.
Referring to his penis.
Oh, come on. You can't let it... It's cheese stacked upon other cheese.
I wasn't leaning. I wasn't going towards that.
Yo. There's a worm
Come
in
on,
that
Tiki,
thing.
let's keep this podcast a PG rating.
I think it's already too late for that.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I mean, we've cursed. You're drinking, and now we're bringing in that into it. So I think we're past that.
I know it was a joke. Come on, guys, get a sense of humor.
Okay.
But I think you're right. It's past PG, considering we've cursed. Tiki's drinking.
Yeah, I am. Thank you.
And now we brought that into it. So I think we're way past that point.
Alright, so phallic cheese references aside,
seriously, I apologize for the phallic cheese. That was out of line.
Yeah, okay. Now he needs to apologize. What's the next dynamic after that?
I apologize for my phallic cheese, sir.
We get it.
All right.
We get it, Tiki.
So our next segment, our next dynamic would be Goofy and Pete. So the best for last, folks.
Oh yeah, this is a great one.
It was a biggie.
Their dynamic really is more shown in the photograph scene and the pool scene.
Yeah, but let's focus first. Let's start with the photograph scene at the beginning.
And the bowling scene.
The bowling scene.
Yeah,
oh yeah, definitely that.
So let's start. You get a sense of the dynamic between Bill Farmer and Jim Cummings is brilliant. It really is.
I wonder if they ever recorded together.
Oh yeah, there's a chance. I think there's a chance they might have.
Yeah, because rarely in animation do they ever record together.
Right.
True. I mean, like in cases like Billy Crystal and John Goodman, they were able to record together. And in Toy Story 2, I think Tom Hanks and Tim Allen might have been able to record together.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, yeah, but if you think about it, a lot of these things where they don't record together, but they sound like they're talking right to each other. That just shows their talent right there.
It does, absolutely right. Yeah.
Like it sounds like they're holding a conversation, but they're not actually together.
That's always impressive.
But and the thing is, like, sometimes they could be, sometimes they couldn't be. It's hard to tell. That's how good they are.
Yeah.
So,
Jacob, the tallest and purple in the questioning, red and purple in the questioning.
Yeah.
I think that turned out pretty well. I mean, not going off topic here, but just something for another discussion.
Well, yeah, you did red. You did good as red.
Yeah, I was surprised the way Stanley edited that. That was really nice. But
what do you think of Scooge?
That was really nice too.
Yeah, because I didn't get as many. I didn't get a lot of questions. Sorry, we're just talking about something else.
Can we get back to Goofy and Pete, please?
Sorry.
No, we can't.
Sandy!
I digress.
Sorry, Dragon.
Okay, anyway, so with the photographs, and you get a sense of, again, with their dynamic, you get the sense of, years of being friends and neighbors, it just it communicates so well. And, Pete, again, Pete scrutinizes, what they're kind of back and forth, the give and take relationships, that Pete scrutinizes, but he tries to help with the under-the-thumb advice.
Yeah, and, he helps with the not admittedly, but with the established terrible advice.
Oh yeah.
You like you said, you can just tell like they've been friends for a long time, and
I think the friendship is one-sided on Goofy's part.
Yes, yeah. It's like Goofy just sees Pete as his buddy, and Pete just I think just to a place of acceptance with Pete of right. This guy is just
like he's one of the few people that can actually put up with Goofy to a point.
Yeah, maybe the same could be said for Pete. The only one that can really put up with Pete to a point.
Yeah. So I guess that's where their bond comes from.
To me, Pete's always seemed like that, that big shot next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Like they can put up with one another for some reason.
Hey, Goof, check out my new sound system.
Check out my kid footers.
Well, she actually does in the RV scene, a little bit.
Yeah, he does. He does very much so.
And with Pete there, by the way, the RV does remind me a lot of the Hey Arnold Big Bob Pataki with the RV. Anyway, I love that Goofy takes Pete's advice, but he takes it in a positive manner. Big example being the fishing trip, again being the initial one during their photo time.
Oh yeah.
And of course, just with their conversation there, again, this just weird Abigail job situation of they're both in the same occupation.
Yeah, like he helps the girl along and all that, but then Pete comes along and velcros her to the stool.
Yeah, it just shows you Goofy is so great with children. That's his thing. Goofy is fantastic, phenomenal with young children. That's what he does. He's a photographer, and they just did that to further illustrate the point.
And then that kind of goes with the fact that he's not resonating with Max as a teenager.
Yeah, right. Totally.
And you see Pete's forceful parenting method with, growing the girl down. You keep him under your thumb, keep him within your control.
On the Velcro groove.
Plus, it just helps the animation in that scene, the movement. It's so hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and again, it just shows you those conflicting parenting styles, but also just Goofy's Goofy is a character trying to live in the past, trying to capture those the innocent years of childhood.
If you think about it, Goofy's kind of at fault in this movie too.
Well, how so?
Well, I mean, he's trying to capture the past, but without thinking about Max as a teenager. He still thinks of him as a
right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, if you think about it, Goofy, they're both kind of that's part where their conflict comes from. He's holding on to the past. Goofy's Max is trying to go to the future without the middle ground.
I mean, come on. What teenager wants to go to the possum park?
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna give Goofy credit for that one.
That's what I'm saying.
Or listen to that ridiculous song in the car.
Oh God, he's got high hopes. He's got high in the sky apple. High hopes.
That's the adult joke you were talking about.
No, that is not the
you'll see.
joke I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, because I don't remember everything from that, but
You'll see.
He'll tell you. Okay, so let me mention that there was a great hot tub bit. So I guess I'm just trying to think if
They always put too much water in these things.
You know what? I'm gonna save it for the favorite moments. I'm gonna save it. It's such a great moment. I'll get there. Okay. So anything else to add on kind of Goofy and Pete? They feed off each other very well. Again, just the supposedly informed one giving the other uninformed one advice, where it's kind of a vice versa underneath it all.
Other than that, they should do more shorts together. Other than Goofy and Pete should do more together. I can't think of anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Aside from Goof Troop and aside from the movies, they never really interact together.
But they bring out the best of each other too.
They do.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
Yeah. It's in a weird way. It's as I mentioned earlier with Max and PJ. It's kind of the optimist versus the pessimist. In some respects, the more negative thinking versus the more positive thinking.
I don't like to see Pete be a part of one of Goofy's how-to episodes.
Oh, that'd be great.
And Pete would be the wrong way to do this, and Goofy would be the right way, even though the right way is screwing up, and the wrong way is just taking his time.
I think they need to do that with all the new shorts they're coming out with. They need to do that.
And Goofy still does the crazy way, but still manages to do it better than Pete.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so is it time for the road trip playlist?
We should pitch that to Disney.
We should. Okay, I guess now it's time to get to our road trip playlist. Moving right along.
On the open road.
All right, so I guess it starts with After Today.
Yeah. By the way, I saw there was a video of someone painstakingly and amazing on the budget of $100 creating shot.
Yeah.
What happened?
Someone created shot for shot on a budget of $100. The After Today sequence from start.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Like in real life too?
It's live action. Every bit. It's a live actor, so it looks as close as they can get. Bear in mind.
Is this shit on YouTube?
Yes.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I need to see this.
It was actually at the Disney, what was it? C23?
D23 show.
Yeah, D23.
Yes.
That's what it was.
I'll explain a little more about that later, but I'll tell you.
They actually showed it at D23?
I'll tell you the specifics about it.
Nice.
I'll tell you the specifics about it when we get there.
Just look up After Today live action. It's the first one that comes up.
I did that.
Okay.
Ted
Okay.
Sowards or what? Ted Sowards, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I'm not gonna watch it now, but I have to watch that later.
So yeah, After Today is just like, it's probably, it's very 90s in its execution, but it's just so damn catchy.
Yeah, it perfectly sets up Max's conflict,
Absolutely, absolutely.
like his desire to break away from being a goof and be cool and all that, and then like his wants and desires.
It's Max's classic Disney "I Want" song.
Yes.
Exactly. Almost every musical has an "I Want" song.
Yeah, exactly. But what I love about this song in particular is how it just gets the vibe of like being on the last day of school before it lets out for summer vacation.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people join in too. Like even the bus, like I'm gonna sit on my butt.
Oh god, that guy.
The bus
Like,
Come
driver.
up the valleys to cut. Yeah.
And then
I'll either be famous or you'll be suspended.
and it also sets up his conflict with Roxanne too when she walks by. It's like she walked right through me or something like that.
Oh, she looks right through me.
He looks right through me.
And who could blame her? Every song in this movie is so goddamn singable. It's so good.
And like I said, it sets up his conflict.
Totally.
Okay, so I guess then we get Standout, which is Max's kind of his Powerline-esque song.
Stand out above the crowd.
First of all, great production values on this number, I must say.
Oh my god, I know. Like, for like a couple of high school AV kids, it's like,
Yeah, you need the
No,
paste
but-
and
also
spray
because-
cheese.
And it's all possible because of spray cheese.
A Goofy movie is brought to you by Spray Cheese. Remember, if you don't got the cheese, you really don't got the cheese.
No, that movie has always made me want spray cheese.
I've
Oh, and
never
by
done-
the way, just a
I've never
little
actually
fun
had spray
fact.
cheese.
Spray Cheese actually did go up in sales after that movie debuted.
I totally believe it.
You can imagine kids everywhere were whining, oh, I want to make this the Leaning Tower of Cheese.
Look at this. It's the Leaning Tower of Jesus.
The Leaning Tower of Cheese.
He had a bunch of crackers or whatever, and he just shoved it all in his mouth.
Oh, God.
Or the nachos bit in the sequel.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
In the next movie, like, does anyone ever wonder why we wear these gloves?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds like a good joke.
And Bobby loves his dairy products. He really does.
Okay, so anything to say about what the hell is it?
Standout?
Yeah, Stand Out.
Again, Standout always very impressive. You know how that was done against all the AV stuff. It was a very well done production number. Principal gets like down this, not an elevator shaft. He gets like down this trap door.
Why is there a
Right,
trap
right.
door on the stage?
Well, for people you don't like.
I wish we had a trap door.
Well, most stages have trap doors for like production values and stuff like that. A lot of old stages have trap doors. in
Yeah,
them.
that's true. That's true.
That's
Or
how,
like-
how magicians make their escapes.
Or
Exactly.
like actors using to quickly exit a scene or get out of a scene like behind the curtain so they can get up there
Mhm.
quicker. Like so they can like sometimes it leads to like another room. Like I took several theater classes, so I know about this kind of thing.
Yeah,
You stab a guy and like, lights go out, this body disappears. Where'd it go? Okay, so I guess then.
And then the concert all goes downhill.
Mm-hmm. And again, it was such a dramatic moment too when he like removed the sunglasses in this.
Hey, it's the Goof Boy!
It's the
Yeah,
Goof Boy.
Like he's the only other person there who looks like that. They would think they would have caught on to that sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That did always bug me even as a kid. I'm like, really? No one thinks this is Max. No one thinks this is Max. Come on.
From what I hear, the name for this guy just literally came out of the writers just like looking out his window, saw some power lines. Well, there's a name. From what I've heard, that's how they got the name Powerline.
Great, that's great.
Well, it works well for a '90s sounding kind of singer.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, totally works. Totally works.
I love the shoulder animation on the Powerline guy, by the way.
I really want to see a Powerline like mockumentary style movie about the rise and fall of Powerline.
Like behind the music.
Yes, exactly.
How about a Powerline action figure?
Oh, I would buy the shit out of a Powerline action figure.
Unfortunately, the reason we don't have action figures and stuff is because the film was made rather economically.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to talk briefly about the reprise of said song?
Well, I don't think we need to.
Well, I just really like the animation on it, though. I really like how fluid it is and how many things Max does while he's skateboarding home. It's like he goes, he goes from the slip and slide to to the big.
When he saves the baby. Yeah, he saves the baby from.
Right, he saves the baby. Yeah, it's. I just love how fluid all that animation is. He does so much with so little animation.
Yeah, it's the Ferris Bueller's Day Off homage.
Exactly.
You're right. That was a really great animation.
Day Off.
Boom, and Wally Shawn's character is the Ed Rooney character trying to go.
Except he doesn't play as big of a role, though.
Right.
At least there is not a Bueller. Instead of not like a goof.
Goof?
Well, I know who that would be. That'd be the character in the next movie, but we'll get to him. The particular.
Oh yeah, I remember him now.
Okay. So let's see. Then we got big one. I believe the one Tiki's going to be pointing out some stuff in. On the Open Road.
Oh, this is absolutely the most iconic set piece and song from this movie. Wouldn't you guys all agree?
Yeah. And
oh my God.
Cameo from Mickey and Donald too.
Oh yeah, the Mickey and Donald cameo. Okay, really quick. There's some Easter eggs in this movie. There's Max has the Mickey Mouse phone.
They even reference Fun and Fancy Free.
Yeah.
Right.
Goofy has the Mickey Mouse keys.
He has the Disney logo keys.
Yeah.
And Walt Disney's mentioned in it.
Which, as a kid, that blew my mind. And the Walt Disney.
Does Disney exist in their universe, or are they self-aware, or what?
I wouldn't say Disney exists in their universe.
Or are they owned by them, or what? I don't know.
I'd like to think that Disney is like the studio head that he is, and basically just directing instead of drawing the characters in the universe. So maybe Goofy, Mickey, and Donald do some films with them on the side.
No idea.
I'm just guessing. I don't know what this. It's like here at Walt Disney, so you love the name drop, and of course, just the keys as a kid blew my mind. Just then the logic of it's, wait, how does that work?
Right.
It's just fun to see and think about. It gives us something to think about, brain food.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, how does that work?
Yin Sid is Disney backwards. Egad.
And then we also see Ariel a couple times in this movie.
We do. Ariel is a light switch. We got Bambi as a stuffed toy.
Right.
There's a lot of Disney references in this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess I would have noticed, like, the Bambi, but I just didn't think it looked enough like Bambi for me to think of Bambi.
Yeah, I'm just saying it looks Bambi.
Well, the deer in a Disney movie, of course it's going to be something like Bambi.
Well, I was rather fond of it.
No! Fun! It's fun! Fun! But you took away the D. Oh!
I have to say that's pretty funny.
How dare you?
Okay, so on the open road, just what can we even say about this? There's so much kinetic energy to it. The song itself is so catchy. I love the interplay between Max and Goofy. Max is so enthusiastic, and Goofy's enthusiastic, and Max is just being really morbid.
Like he does like losing his leg. One of the lyrics is like about losing his lunch.
But speaking of losing life, we see not only the corpse dancing on the car.
That's my favorite part.
But also, okay, here's the very dark adult joke that got in here. I love this. I can't believe this exists. So, we see the trunk of a car just pop open, and we see a guy tied up with concrete, like, on his feet. So it's like he is literally in the trunk of a mob car about to be dumped into some river somewhere.
Yep.
And yet he's got a smile on his face and he's singing along.
Well, his last song writes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh god, I can't get over that. I mean, if it was a body tied up in the back of a truck, that'd be one thing, but the cement feet just seal the deal. That's just like, oh my god, that guy is not going to end well.
I don't remember that.
I actually just caught it the first time, the last time that I rewatched this last night, so I never caught it before then either.
I was thinking about you talking about the women he was singing with at one point.
No. Howdy, boys, is this the way to Nashville?
Okay, so I think we just pretty much glaze over, if we can, this, because it creeps me out, the Lester's Possum Park song.
Oh, come on, that's the magnus opus of songwriting in the whole movie. I mean, don't you want to do like a beat-by-beat analysis of every single lyric?
No!
I don't even remember that song because I keep skipping over that scene.
Yes! Gather around the possum pals, enjoy the jamboree.
Oh, that kid giving him that grin is so seared into my memory.
And then she's singing along, and she's like, la 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 la.
All right, stop it. Let's move on.
All right.
Let's move on. Okay, let's move on to Nobody Else But You, the fatherly bonding song.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love this song.
Nobody else but you.
That's my favorite song in the whole film.
That's a good song.
And I remember watching it, like, after rewatching the movie a bunch of times, I'd always be super nervous about the song because I knew the waterfall scene was coming up right after that. So it's like they're singing the song, but it's like there's some really perilous shit going on, It's like they're going over waterfalls and through whirlpools and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like, if you would just pay attention and stop singing the song, then maybe Goofy doesn't go over that waterfall at the end and almost die.
Well, they'd have father and son bonding time. It might as well happen there.
I guess. No, I'm not saying it's not effective. I'm just saying, like, as a kid, it always, like, gave me anxiety. I was like, but the waterfall's right there!
Bill Farmer loves that line, by the way.
They sing about their differences and how it actually makes them more relatable to each other.
Yeah. What line does Bill Farmer love?
He loves it's a waterfall. A waterfall!
It's a waterfall! A waterfall!
He loves that line. He loves just the waterfall!
Bill Farmer's a cool guy.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. So then we got the eye to eye. Spelled eye to eye.
Yes.
So that's a lot of lines.
And that's a lot of fish.
Okay, this is sang by Tevin Campbell, who apparently was a big deal in the 90s, and he was Powerline.
Yeah. I like how Powerline just, like, instantly accepts the fact that Goofy and Max are on stage, and he's like, all right, I can get into this.
Powerline always struck me as kind of the mix between Prince and Michael Jackson.
Yes, I hate the exact same.
Prince of
You don't get much more 90s than a combo of those two.
I said the exact same thing to my dad watching the movie last night, Dragon.
It's like
Michael Jackson.
It's like he's like the style and dance moves of Michael Jackson with kind of the finesse, and I guess maybe the voice of Prince.
Yeah.
If I didn't know better, I'd say it was Prince voicing him, or at least singing.
Definitely flamboyant enough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love the swirly hair. That's my favorite element of his design, the swirly hair. Okay, so I guess that's all.
And Goofy even taught him a dance move.
Yes, he did. The cast, the perfect cast.
And I love how Powerline is just so accepting of it. He's like, "That's cool. I'm gonna do it myself. Let's get in on this, buddy."
Yeah, so
it's like there's absolutely no judgment of Goofy. he just accepts it immediately. He's like, all right, come on, we'll make you part of the show.
Yeah, because he brought in the dance move, and then Max is doing it. It works wonderfully.
How about the security guard? The security guard who completely smashes into the screen.
But it's just so gratifying. I think that right there is kind of like a culmination of Goofy's whole arc when he gets on stage and he does the whole, the perfect cast, and he does this ridiculous dance, and everyone accepts him. And live on national TV, everyone's watching him, and he's up there with power light. Oh, I love it.
Okay, let's see. So probably we should get to our Kodak moments now.
Our Kodak moments. Yes.
Okay, so let me start off with Hi Dad Soup. I mean, it's a beautiful moment.
Oh my God! Oh, Hi Dad Soup is just brutal.
I love that scene.
It's brutal.
It comes after Bigfoot.
Now, first of all, let me point out something. It's not a bad idea that for a split second, the movie seems like it might be solved. I mean, obviously it's not going to be. I'm just saying there's this great moment where they discover Bigfoot, and then Max and Goofy have the realization of, like, and I got Bigfoot on film. We're going to be rich. We're going to be big. And then they realize, then Bigfoot destroys the camera. Like, they glimmer full of Max saying, well, everything's going to heck around us, but hey, there's a bright side. And then, boom. Nope. It's like the one thing that could have made the trip and all the hardship and all the psychotic possumness worth it. Now gone.
Was that after the possum?
Yeah, it was after the possum.
Yeah, because it's like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this.
Oh, it's after the possum.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. The possum's like the first stop.
Yeah, but the Hi Dad Soup is just, it's like, first of all, again, of all the food animation, the soup gag was brilliant. Like how first of all, it's this tense moment of, again, there's a subtle foreshadow here. It's really brilliant. So, the soup is on the dash, not dash, on the outside of the car. And, Goofy rolls down the window just enough, and then the Bigfoot's charging, and it looks like he's going to bite Goofy's arm off, but then, as Goofy's like getting there, he has the soup, and again, he has like sideways, so he can't get it through the window. But Max helps him out there and saves him at the last second, and because of that camaraderie, because of them working together, because of them finding a middle ground, they got the soup, and they bond to it. There's some foreshadowing what they need to do, work together to get through that.
Right.
And of course, it's like the use of the cigarette lighter. Well, now we finally have some use for this.
That was very practical.
Very practical.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry, go on.
Kind of foreshadows them working together to escape the waterfall.
Yes, yeah. And of course, like the goof. I love the goof teeth thing. You count the teeth.
Yeah.
You have like two little opening holes for the soup. Yeah, very nice. There's a sweet thing, of course, like Max going to go and sleep after he gives him the Hi Dad Soup after they kind of bond over there. He used to always spell out all these things.
And then Goofy sleep talking. He's just like, more Hi Dad Soup, please.
How many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?
Oh God, right.
And it's like editing, like Max is fixing the map. It's like we're like
3.5.
It's like editing the map, and Max is like, oh crap, he's gonna see me, and he's like, how many cups of sugar does it take to get to the moon?
Okay, now speaking of that, I want to get in this right now. So let me share with you guys the most nostalgic, positive, not the negative awesome thing, but the most positive, nostalgic scene, like one of the most well-directed, nostalgic scenes from this movie I have ingrained in my mind. I will never forget. It just turns out how you can have such a tense, high-intensity sequence of the most mundane of things, something I love so much, the map alteration scene. Following the Hi Dad Soup has always burned in my memory, being such a well-directed sequence. It's
just like when Max was like erasing the pencil?
Yes. Remember the map has been this coveted item of Goofy said, oh no, remember it's first of all, there's a great history. The tracking of this map was brilliant through this whole film. Because they established the map of you see at the bottom there. I can never make out the names quite well, but this map was plotted to this fishing trip by Goofy's father and his grandfather. It's an heirloom to the Goof family, and it's marked off all the stops on the way to getting to the fishing spot. So he hits the glove compartment. It's like, oh great, and then the map comes out. And it's right there. It's so Hitchcockian. It's there for the alteration. There's the one light source in this. It's pitch black outside, and the only light source is the glove compartment. Like, it's it's such a realistic touch. And then, of course, just you're focused on the map. It's like the most tense map alterations you've ever seen, erasing the thing, and then just like the tracking of the lead in the pencil is so great. It's like this.
The moment when the pencil breaks is like the most tense thing ever.
And then my favorite bit in the whole thing is when he uses the lead to finish it. He uses the lead.
The lighting is great too.
And
yes, it's so intense.
And then Goofy wakes up and breaks the drama.
Yeah. And again, then of course the guilt.
They can get to the moon.
3.5?
And then he goes back to sleep.
And again, it works so well because then Max is kind of living with the guilt after he closed the thing. He's like, I made my decision. I gotta live for this.
Right.
And so that map scene will never leave my mind. It's just like so great. It's such a great tense.
It's like the ultimate betrayal of the movie.
Yes.
It's like Shakespearean.
Yes. Okay, so you guys would like to share some in the meantime?
Oh, let's see. Just in general, Bigfoot. I mean, come on, let's talk about Bigfoot. Frank Welker himself.
Could you take a step back, Mr. Foot?
You're out of focus.
I think this must be the most entertaining rendition of Bigfoot that we've ever seen in anything.
I'm gonna say something though. Rewatching it, Bigfoot is such a prick. It really is. Let me say why. There's the bit in this movie where just Bigfoot he gets smart. He gets really smart for this one bit in the movie. I'm thinking, you self-indulgent.
Well, I love how intelligent this Bigfoot is. That's kind of what draws me to it.
That's the thing. I think it just really makes him a prick. When he's like dangling the key, looking for the keys. He dangles the keys and he throws them away. It's like, you.
I love that. I love that.
Okay, now I need you to help me out here. I need you to clarify something because everywhere I tried to find this to rewatch it recently, I could not. It feels like there's a scene missing, doesn't it? Because after you don't see them. Do you see them get the keys back? Do you remember seeing that?
No, they never get the keys back. No.
Yeah. Well, it's not shown, but I think it's implied that they eventually found it.
That's the thing. They skip them fine because obviously they have a car for the rest of the movie, so obviously they find the keys.
Well, it's not really that important to show them that they got it back, though, because
yeah.
You're right, but it's just the weirdest thing of like when you think about you're right.
It's just like one of those continuity things that if you just put it in there, it'll just slow the film down.
Yeah, but
by that logic, it's like the car goes over a fucking waterfall, and yet somehow they're still managed to drive it back.
Yeah, but it still is kind of like the point of that whole scene is they're stuck in there because Bigfoot's on top of the car. You want to know what happened?
I think probably after he woke up, he probably just walked off or
maybe they just hotwired it.
Yeah, could be.
That would be kind of neat.
But I think we see the keys after in the waterfall scene when they're going down the road, right?
Maybe.
Honestly, we've already kind of touched on a lot of my favorite moments, like the whole thing with Goofy realizing about the map and that great shot where he's in bed and then it turns to him being in the driver's seat with the same
expression. I think you guys have been talking about that whole Pete and the hot tub sequence.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, Jacob, would you like to lead us through this?
No, I mean, like, I thought you were going to lead something about it.
No, I gave up.
But it's like where Pete, like...
He doesn't want to dominate the conversation.
It's like Pete was, like, trying to prove to him that Max did deceive, like, he knows that Max would do that.
Yeah,
but Goofy didn't want to believe it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you now...
When he looks at it, he's like, oh my gosh, Pete was right.
But here's the part I love. Here's the subtle bit in this whole thing I really love. The moment you've never seen between Pete and Goofy is just so jaw-droppingly awesome. It's this... Okay, so they're in the hot tub. They're, again, brilliantly lit. It's some of the best lighting in animation you'll see. Anyway, so then as Pete just kind of casually... Again, the scene is so well-crafted that Pete knows... And we, the audience, have seen Pete find this out. He absolutely knows the truth here, and he knows it's going to break Goofy's heart the minute he finds out. So Pete tells him, says, "Oh, the kid changed the map on you, Goof." And
straight up.
And again, Pete is doing this just to kind of put Goofy... He's trying to help him in some way, but at the same time, he has no qualms out crushing his spirit.
I mean, like he's
right.
He's like trying to be honest with him, like your son's deceiving you.
Yeah, but here's the great part, though. It's Goofy's reaction. There's this one bit from Pete, but Goofy starting it off here by saying, I don't believe that. And he's getting really stern. Goofy's getting really stern, really kind of like, no, I believe in my son.
Like, he stands up for calls Pete out on how dare you say such a thing.
Yeah, and then there's a great moment. Whenever Goofy, it's this odd thing with Goofy. Whenever his back's turned, it's always saying something dramatic and awesome. But when it turns around, he's like, as he's getting out of the pool, it's like, it's like kind of like when you obscure the Goofy face, and this is serious. Like, he's not goofing around.
Right.
He says, I might not have Max under my thumb like you and your son, but I trust him. I trust my son. And then Pete has it. Here's the moment. Pete responds with, and he's not just doing like the Goofy Pete voice. He's not doing like, oh, Goofy. He's just saying, hey, me and my son are good. Essentially something along those lines. Just saying, my
son respects me.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you.
Just, my son respects me.
My son respects me.
He said it kind of in a dark and serious way too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's
like saying, "Hey, watch it, Goofy."
He's like, my son respects me.
It's like the most serious moment between our iconic Disney characters you've ever seen. Just him saying, "Hey, my son respects me." So like basically, hey, don't you tell me how to parent my kid. My son respects me.
It's like the most serious Pete has ever been.
That's what I'm saying. You never see that. It's so brilliant. Like, it just like chills your bones for a second there,
I mean, yeah, I see your point that like Pete's actually trying to help him, but he's not. He's actually trying to help him in that point.
Yeah. Check the map, Goof. And then of course the moment where he just like again, Goofy's just so with his son there. He gets in the car and he's like contemplating. He's so Hitchcockian the way this is directed. You're right.
Like Goofy does wants to check the map. He doesn't want to believe it, but then he sees it. And he's like, oh my God, Pete's right.
Like he just like hits the steering wheel. Like, no, I'm just foolish to come here. And then the light of knowledge appears in the car. It's just like the light of truth, with the thing popping out. And as he looks, we know we don't need to see him look at the map. We know he looked at the map. It's just
especially the way he walks in. Like it's like, don't worry, Dad, we'll clean up the mess. Then he's like. He just walks by without saying a word.
Goofy, just utter abject disappointment and sadness. And again, during the big what's the turnoff? Like the little
the junction scene.
The junction scene. Thank you. Of course, the junction scene is just so great because again, smartly, our character is armed with information. Again, it's such a reflection of that Pete scene. He is now armed with the information, and He's putting his faith in his son. He's like, my son's going to do the right thing. I've raised him right. He's going to do the right. I know he's made a mistake. He's going to do the right thing. I know he is. And when Max really wants to say right, but he says at the last second left because he knows he wants to do that. He has to do that in his bones. And then Goofy just gives this look of like, I'm a failure as a parent. It's like the most heartbreaking thing.
I mean, like he's genuinely angry.
Yeah, I'm a failure as a parent, and he betrayed me, and he's not he's not gonna punish him. He's just feeling so angry, he's holding it all in.
Right.
And again, the Goofy stuff we know him for, like fiddling with the seatbelt. He's like seemingly comedic, but it's just like it's that Goofy character, but in a serious situation. Like I'm trying to storm out of this car.
Right.
It's good stuff. And of course, the fishing save, of course, is a highlight of the film when they're going over the waterfalls. Like his son is in peril.
I just think the whole atmosphere of that canyon that they're going down during the finale is just magical. It looks so good.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of the Big Thunder Mountain ride.
Yeah, it does.
I don't think that was intentional though.
No,
I don't think it was, but I don't know. There's just something about it. It just really. It makes you feel at peace when you're there. It's the kind of thing that you'd like to drive upon on a road trip. I don't know.
In contrast to what's happening between them.
Exactly. Right. Totally.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So that's all I really got for moments. You guys got anything else?
I think we thoroughly covered just about every major, pinpoint of this movie at this point.
Then it'd probably be time to wrap up with kind of our final kind of thoughts on how it's been impacted.
Okay.
So, if I start us off.
Go ahead.
So, folks, something you should probably be aware of is that, coincidentally, this discussion of ours falls within the year of the 20th anniversary of a Goofy movie, and wow, what a milestone! I mean,
we didn't reach like the exact day like we did on the Toy Story podcast, but
let's face it, folks. Sometimes you have to prioritize.
Right.
That's at the end of the year too, like at the very end of the year. So it's
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
The year of Goofy.
One is this movie has turned 20 years old, 20th anniversary. People have gone out of their ways to celebrate this in terms like there was a D23 panel, as was mentioned with the video.
Oh.
Is that there was a D? That's where I got a lot of some background here, so I'm building to a little bit. Here's the D23 panel had like all the voice actors, all your main voice. You had Jim Cummings, you had Bill Farmer, you had Jason Marsden, you had Rob Paulson, you had Jim Cummings, you had the whole.
Did they actually all show up? Because I didn't see the D23 stuff.
Oh, the D20. Seriously, check out the D23 panels. It's really great. Also, the people who couldn't be there in person sent in video things. Hence
was
the
Wally Shawn there.
Wally Shawn was there via video thing, and Pauly Shore had thing talking. You mentioned the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Did he actually have like a live-action Leaning Tower of Cheesa?
No, but here's what they did, Tiki. They had dancing girls. They had many assistants and dancing girls for like they ended on a power line recreation.
Oh no!
With the actual guy who sang, Tevin Campbell, he was there singing the song live for all the people.
Get all these people to convince all these people to show up again.
Yeah, but it gets better. So again, before that though, when after the Pauly Shore thing, they had girls, some additional girls on the side. They had brought up these platters of crackers with using spray cheese for the panelists and for the guests.
Of course.
Which is great, and it's just this great celebration. And I think
this D23 presentation is brought to you by Spray Cheese.
Yeah, I'm just saying there was a D23 panel, a big panel. It was like the last panel of a night of D23 where they. The movie's developed such a cult fan following. People love
there's absolutely a cult.
It's funny that Disney would even acknowledge that kind of thing.
Yeah, and again, they showed that one video, the after today live action video. There's the show just to make the point that people really love this film.
Like I said, I'm surprised that Disney, like as a professional organization, would even acknowledge that kind of thing.
Yeah, and you know what? Rob Paulson said it best. I'm just going to paraphrase him as much as I can here. Essentially, what he said at the panel is Rob Paulson's the guy who always kind of puts things in perspective in terms of what voice actors and animated films do for the mass public.
I mean, that's kind of his job on the podcast.
Exactly. On the podcast, he has the charity organization where it's always about giving people smiles and laughter.
Right.
I like one quote that he says, that is a quote where he said, "Laughter is the best medicine. It's free. People can't OD on it, and you can get it from anywhere, pretty much."
Yeah. Essentially, it's great. Anyway, so he said he's just so amazed. Look, a moment where I just got to take a moment here to say, guys, people have come up to me and they said, I talked to my father. I did not talk to my father until I saw a Goofy movie.
Yeah,
that's impactful.
Totally,
that's
totally.
And of course, I think we can all relate to that on some level. It's a deeper connection with our fathers after seeing this film on some level.
Definitely. Hell, I watched this movie with my dad as an adult for the first time last night, and I feel like me and him kind of gained a deeper understanding of each other just through that experience. Even as an adult, watching it with his adult son, it's still got that same level of impact.
It's a universal message.
My dad doesn't like these kind of movies, so
I got lucky in that regard. My dad will watch pretty much everything.
My dad doesn't really like animation.
My dad hates Disney.
I feel sorry for him then.
Yeah.
It's like I think our parents, on some level, do kind of are represented through these characters.
I'm sorry, really quick. My grandpa absolutely despises Mary Poppins.
Why?
I'm not even joking. He despises it.
Does he hate the penguins?
No, he was just like, well, I went to go see it when it first came out, and everyone was talking about it, and it was just a bunch of crazy people singing and dancing, and I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand it.
You completely missed the message of the movie, then.
I know.
That's another movie about a father connecting with his children.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my God.
Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is the emotional centerpiece.
I tried showing my father the Lego movie. He didn't really get the ending that much.
I think the Lego movie is a little bit of a step down from those other two examples.
Again,
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, the ending I thought would have got it to him, but no, it didn't.
like Mary Poppins. I mean, like that's definitely a movie about a father trying to connect with his children, well, not realizing that he needs to connect with his children.
Totally.
So let's see. So, sorry, guys, would you like to weigh in on some final thoughts with the movie? Sandy?
Well, I've always loved this movie, and I always will. It's always going to have, that spark, and it just has that great atmosphere and great characters and just the story and the plot and the writing and the music and everything just works well. Like, it works together so well, and that's it, basically. I mean, I love the movie.
All right.
Jacob?
Well, I guess I can't really top anything you guys have said. It's just that maybe something I can watch with my children one day. Hopefully, they can get the same timelessness out of it that we did.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
and as a film that's 20 years old, people who watched it as a kid are now having kids themselves and showing it to their kids. So I definitely think that's a thing for sure.
yeah, like I said, maybe my kids eventually will have the same timelessness factor that we did, and maybe they'll watch it with their kids and so on. I mean, that's the thing about Disney. Even though some of them take place in the modern times and old times, they're still timeless. Somehow, unlike other companies like DreamWorks, they managed to make, even though contemporary, but also timeless.
Yes, exactly. It's funny how this movie is so a 90s movie. It is drenched in 90s culture, absolutely drenched in it, marinated in it.
But
it doesn't affect our enjoyment of it whatsoever.
It's the message that's timeless.
Right. And I would even say the 90s culture is just kind of part of the time period and part of the setting, if anything else. It doesn't get in the way. All right.
Yeah, Tiki, if I can close us out with something.
Well, hold on. Let me give my final thoughts, and then you can close us out.
I just want to run it by just in case we get cut abruptly. I just want to make sure.
All right. Yeah. You'll get the final thoughts.
That's all.
Okay, so my final thoughts just generally, man, I mean, look, I can look back on a lot of Disney movies and appreciate the animation, appreciate the art style. There's one thing that a lot of Disney movies I feel like fail in the story department. Not necessarily fail, but just kind of like I feel like a lot of Disney movies, there's this kind of disconnect for me, especially looking back at them as an adult, where Bambi is an absolutely gorgeous, fucking beautiful work of art that's boring as shit to sit through.
I actually disagree. I mean, I actually love sitting through that.
Okay, well, agree to disagree. It's so freaking beautiful and gorgeous and artistic. It's just the pace of that movie.
The ending's good, though.
The pace of that movie, though, is just. But I don't know. What I'm getting at is that I really do feel like, at the end of the day, a Goofy movie, out of all this long line of Disney classics, this is one of the Disney movies that is so hard to poke holes in, so hard to find things wrong with it. I think it stands up. Go ahead.
Fantasia's like up there in my top 5 favorite of their movies. So
Fantasia to me is like Disney's equivalent of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Well, I mean. Well,
and I don't say that in a bad way. I say it in the fact that it was a very bold visual experiment for them.
And it predates 2001 too.
Well, yeah. No, obviously it's not, like, stylistically it's very different. I'm saying just in terms of the ambition of 2001 and the ambition of Fantasia.
Yeah, like.
But anyways, I mean, just for me personally, on a personal level, this movie is just about the most perfect Disney movie I could possibly find. I mean, it blows me away just how much it holds up and how the film is even more dramatic looking at it as an adult than it was as a kid. It blows me away. It really, honest to God, is it's got to be in my top 5 favorite Disney movies, if not my absolute favorite.
It's relatable as a child and an adult.
Absolutely, on entirely different levels. All right, so Drago, without further ado, do you want to end us out?
Yeah, sure. Let me make a statement I think would be a good way to end this out here. So, it's a 90s film with heart that helped define Goofy further as a character. You know, it's the result of Disney at a height of creative output. Among films like, The Lion King, Nightmare Before Christmas, Toy Story. These were all films in production at the same time, along with the Goofy movie.
Rescuers Down Under as well, which no one ever talks about.
What is it?
I mean,
Rescuers Down Under.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. We need to do a podcast on that one of these days.
Right.
3-hour podcast, just breaking that the hell down.
Yeah, like we did here.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's look at Wait until you see what I'm talking about here. This movie was put out it was in the works during the height of Disney's creative output era, in the 90s. Like, Lion King was in the works, Nightmare Before Christmas in the works, and of course Toy Story was in the works. This is among the greats. This is among the greats along with those films. It's 20 years old for a reason.
It's very underrated.
Absolutely. And again, it's in the stirring pot with all those greats. It is, and it's for a reason. It's defined a generation. That's my main point. This movie has defined a generation. For something called a Goofy movie, it's the furthest from it. At the same time, it is absolutely what you want from a Goofy movie.
Totally, absolutely.
Has enough goofiness, but enough level-headedness to it.
Yeah.
So happy 20 years.
It's just an all-around, just like, it's got the laughs, it's got the heart, it's as close to perfect as I am likely to find right now. Alright, so with that in mind, hey look! It's the Leaning Tower of Jesus!
Hey look, a peach!
Look! A peach!